beat A&M 6-5 last night in the winner-take-all Game 3 of the College World Series. The Florida Panthers hoisted the Stanley Cup after beating Edmonton last night in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Texas Rangers, they play the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. The Astros, they take on the Colorado Rockies, and the Missions are home. They play Midland at 7:05.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Schlossnagle.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Schlossnagle on vacation, working hard on a beach down in Mexico, according to his Facebook. I'm Jason Minix, not on vacation. And I'm struggling today, I ain't gonna lie. Last night was a night. James Pledger, he took the day off yesterday, pre-gamed all day, went to the Blink 182 concert last night. I was there, and it feels like, I don't know, every other person on my social media feed was at the concert last night.
I didn't see an empty seat.
There wasn't. It was, I mean, I don't know what they consider sold out, but that stage setup that Blink had last night was you could have seats kind of behind, and I appreciate, because I see Pearl Jam, they do this a lot, where there's basically you're looking at the back of Travis Barker all night, but a couple times they turn around and they play to those people that are back there, which is kind of where you were, right?
Yeah, down behind. I was kind of in between Travis and Tom.
In between Travis and Tom. That actually sounds like a bad Blink song. When you look at the show, I'm a little disappointed in you, James Pledger.
What happened?
Well, you took the day off yesterday, and Edwin was a little salty that he had to work a double. Although he apparently had the option to not come in at 5 o'clock in the morning, but he tried to say what a great team player he is, and he pulled the double. Of course, he's off today. But he didn't understand why you would take a day off to go to a concert that's in town. And I tried to explain to him that, one, if you worked yesterday, you wouldn't have made the show in time.
Nope.
You wouldn't have seen Pierce the Veil, who opened, and they were fantastic. But also because you had the GA floor tickets, I figured you were out there at 8 o'clock in the morning in line, so you could be one of those crazies that doors open and you run and you get your spot on the rail and you don't move for hours. You wear diapers. And you didn't do that. I'm really disappointed in you. I mean, I get to the arena, I call you to check on you, see if you need anything, and you're in the merch line.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing in the merch line?
Well, the outside one was a lot shorter than the inside. The inside's all wrapped around somewhere. The one outside, the big trailer they had that was right when you walk in the door, that line I was in and out of that thing in like 10 minutes.
For the merch?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. But I never saw a merch tent. Although I got a shirt, but my wife goes and she stands in line. That move. So I didn't see it because we got dropped off right there by the door on the side and walked in and then went down. So I never walked around the concourse or saw any of that stuff because we were pushing. By the time we got there, I think Pierce the Veil went on around 7:50, and we probably got there 7:40. By the time we got there and got inside,
got beer,
and literally got beer, got to the seats, and Pierce the Veil was on stage. So, and then my wife was like, all right.
Great timing.
So yeah, it was. So my wife was like, so do I get to go stand in line? I'm like, yeah. Because I wanted to see Pierce the Veil.
They were incredible.
They really are. And what's crazy about Pierce the Veil, about a year or so ago, they headlined at the Techport. And then to see them opening for Blink, you could see just how far and how quickly that band is coming along.
Yeah, they've been a fantastic band. They actually were playing, I believe, didn't you go to When We Were Young?
No.
Oh.
No.
Weren't you supposed to?
I bought tickets for When We Were Young, and I sold those tickets.
That's what it was.
Because, well, I mean, this is dumb, but they made it a 2-day thing, same show. I needed 4, and they would only let me buy 2, and then they charged my card for 2 more, and they gave me 2 on Sunday. I said, I want 4 for Saturday. I don't want 2 and 2. And so we ended up selling those. So we didn't go. When we were young in Vegas, which, and you know, I don't love festivals, but it was Green Day and Blink that were headlining that.
Yep.
And the problem with festivals like that is if you get a good spot for one, you're going to miss the other. And I want to see them both. And so, you know, and like I'll see Green Day in September. I saw Blink last night. I'll do that. It's all good.
You don't want to stage hop.
I don't. I don't. Well, and with the crowds, but you know, and the one thing about, you know, certain festivals, some bands are really good at festivals. Other bands are really good on their own with their show. And not everybody translates to a good festival show. I think Blink is one of those that they're better to see them. Green Day's better to see them on their own as opposed to a festival. A band like Foo Fighters, you could, you know, their festival show is like an arena show because it's more about the music and without all the video and everything else. Metallica, and I've seen Metallica at festivals. They're good. It's Metallica. I mean, they're one of my favorites. They're great, but a festival Metallica show is very different than a Metallica stadium show. Just with everything that goes in to watching Metallica. So Blink, seeing them last night, far better than seeing them at a festival.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them at festivals. I've seen them at ACL back in the day. I've seen them at Warped Tour, obviously, back in the day. But seeing them on their own, full show, Tom back, it was bucket list.
That was good. That was good. Blink's just one of those bands, and I put Green Day in this category. Foo is in this guy. You just kind of feel like they're always on and delivering. You know, last time I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was so disappointed because I just kind of felt like they showed up for work, did their job, and went home. And really, the last 2 times I've seen the Chili Peppers at ACL a couple years ago,
Yeah,
like they finished like 30 minutes before the fireworks. Like, dude, you guys just stopped. When I saw them at the Alamo Dome, it's like they just punch the clock in and out and go. And you know, for bands that have been doing it a long time, you know, and at some point, I imagine you get tired of playing the same old songs, but you never get that feeling watching Blink. And with Tom back, there is just that, I don't know what the word is, but it's back. Like I saw Blink when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, you know.
Matt Skibble was great. It was a great show. This was different.
Yeah.
There was an energy to it. And the one thing I absolutely adore about Blink 182 is you don't get to see the same show over and over again. I saw things that I never thought I'd see in a show that they did that night. Like there was a band that when Tom first left the group, Mark and Travis kind of did their own thing. And there was a group called Plus 44.
Yep.
And they ended up playing Till Your Heart Stops Beating. And it blew my mind. And I've been to a ton of Blink shows. They always throw in something that's just kind of out of the ordinary. So it's never the same show.
That's what they do. And again, you know, what they play 17, 18 songs last night, you know, about 14, you know, they're going to play. Those are the hits. And then you're going to get some stuff mixed in there, which is what you want. That's, you know, because everybody's there for the hits. for the bands, what do they do to keep it interesting and put up there on the set list so they could have a little fun doing it? So yeah, no, it was good. Although I don't know what's up with Travis Barker. I mean, killer drummer, but that might be the least crazy Travis Barker set that I've seen. You know, yeah, they raised the drum set up for a little while, but he didn't do anything except for play in the air. You know, I remember seeing him in Phoenix a couple years ago, and he was in that hamster wheel and upside down. Last year in Houston, it was raised, but there was some fire going and it was moving all around. And I think he even stood up on that. I don't know. It's just like, maybe he's getting older.
Maybe Courtney told him no.
His insurance policy said, you know what, we got to keep you a little bit. I don't know. It just, I always expect something more from Travis on that drum kit.
Sure. When you push the envelope so far as a drummer, it kind of gets hard to find that next level, I'm guessing.
Maybe.
Like you saw him in a hamster wheel upside down on fire. Like, what more can you do as a drummer?
I don't know. Do it again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a good point, I suppose, but you're at the Blink show last night. I know you're hurting today. Like Pledge.
I'm fine.
Like Pledge. Pledge is hurting today. Pledge is hurting. It's all right. It was a good time. If you're an Aggie, you're hurting today. You're hurting big time today. So close, yet so far away. I didn't wake up in time to hear Rob Thompson this morning. And watching the highlights, clearly I didn't watch the game. I was following it on my phone. But for the catcher not to be able to get that tag on and the guy to go around, what a crappy way. Now granted, they came back and they got closer, and you kind of felt like watching the highlights and based on some text messages I was getting during the concert last night, I thought the Aggies, like in game 2, they're going to rally late and they're going to win this thing. Yet they didn't get it done.
I obviously didn't see the game last night, but from what I've heard from other Aggies that I've talked to, the score was closer than the game felt.
Well, I mean, it was 6-5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The score was closer than the game felt.
But the Aggies got some runs late. And, you know, again, left some runners in scoring position. And, you know, and that tag, come on. It happens. It happens. So, as I said yesterday, as a Longhorn fan, I was rooting hard for the Aggies last night.
I heard you talking about that. I heard all the other Longhorn fans that weren't.
Yeah.
And even as a Longhorn fan myself and grew up, my dad literally ripped an Aggie hat off of a guy and threw it in the garbage disposal and turned it on when he came into the house and my sister was introducing this guy. Didn't take his hat off, A. B, it was an Aggie hat. So there has always been that rivalry. But even I was cheering for him yesterday just because I don't want that other UT with the wrong orange to win.
Well, I just like, I mean, I'm not an Aggie fan, but I'm not an Aggie hater. And my team isn't in there. A lot of Aggie friends, I wanted them to celebrate. I wanted them to have that joy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Although, as Rob will tell you, it's probably the way he expected it to end.
Oh, yeah, no, his next day promo yesterday, you know, he had that battered Aggie syndrome. He was prepared. Well, at least next year. I don't know. Part of it. The NBA draft is tomorrow. I'm ready. I am so ready. And as we get closer, there's more and more and more rumors involving the Spurs. This one isn't new, but it's kind of resurfacing. So let's dive into it. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Have you had a chance to get down to the Big Blind yet? The premier poker room here in San Antonio? If you haven't, why not? You got to go check this place out. It is unbelievable. It's like walking into a Vegas casino. You're going to have a lot of fun. Whether you're an experienced poker player or not, they have got a table for you. Not to mention the fact that they have weekly blackjack tournaments as well. And it's from the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, so you know the service, the food, and the drinks are going to be top of the line. The Big Blind, it's right down from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant. You know exactly where that is. 281 and Redland Road. Go check them out.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Who doesn't love pizza, cold beer, and something sweet for dessert? Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Liver stress can cause low energy, restless sleep, and an expanding waistline. Protect your liver and get a daily detox with Active Liver from New Nordic. Available in tablet or delicious gummy, Active Liver's high-quality ingredients, like milk thistle and turmeric extracts, are proven to keep your liver healthy and you feeling your best. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Walmart.com, or NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
You know, living here in San Antonio and South Texas, a water softener is almost a requirement. The water is hard. You know this. It affects your appliances and all of that kind of stuff. And the best water softener to buy is a Connecticut quality water softener. Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. They're made in America, up to 80% more efficient than competing models. Got a simple design, fewer moving parts, and the best thing about it is there's nothing to plug in. There won't be an increase in your electric bill. Connecticut quality water softeners are the best in the business, and right now they have got the best deal for you. Connecticut is going to let you try a quality water softener in your home for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. Call them today. 656-PURE. That's 656-7873 or ConnecticutSA.com. You know the jingle. Sing it with me. Connecticut, the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Lowe's knows owning a project means owning the right tools. And during Craftsman Days, you can save big on what you need from a brand you trust. Get a free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of the V20 string trimmer or leaf blower for only $99. Find these savings and more today. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/10 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Eagle's on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. You can always be a part of the show on Twitter. Tweet at me at Jason Minix, the station at SA Sports Star. You can always call 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You're on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You can always comment there. I see some interesting comments already on YouTube. I don't know how to... Happy Hawk Tua's Day, everybody. That girl's everywhere. Everywhere. The Hawk Tua girl. Also says Minix mentioned Broadway 50/50 yesterday. Then I find out it's Broadway 50/50 is not closing. I don't know where you hear things like that. Saw it on the internet. Yeah, I saw something that the building's been for sale forever. It's still for sale. I think that's it. But Broadway 50/50 is not closing. Go there, get a good cheeseburger, cold beer, good times. With the draft coming up tomorrow, we still have no idea what the Spurs plan is. Tomorrow we'll get a good idea of what these Spurs are going to do. The internet is full of all kinds of rumors, from restaurant closings to trades that could happen. The idea of Trae Young and San Antonio, boy, it was hot last year, and then it kind of cooled off. And then today, I've heard it and seen it in a couple different places. One of them is an ESPN article that basically talks about 5 scenarios for Atlanta and what the Hawks could do. And a trade for Trae Young and picks, according to this, Keldon, Zach, 2025 first-round pick, which was Atlanta's, a 25 first-round pick from Charlotte, top 14 protected, and a 27 first-round pick that was Atlanta's, all for Trae Young. No. One, that's a lot. And I know Atlanta gave a lot to San Antonio for DeJounte. The Spurs aren't going to give it all back for Trae. I mean, you think about the pick and roll idea with Trae and Wemby and the way that would work, and certainly that is a scenario that, as Spurs fans, we could all fall in love with. The idea, if the Spurs were to do that, I don't know that I would hate it, but it's not something that I would chase. And I don't know that I would give up all of those picks and Keldon and Zach for Trae Young. Although if Wemby is pushing for something like that, then maybe you make that happen, because they did seem friendly at the All-Star game. And if you're Atlanta, Atlanta is one of those interesting teams coming into the draft, because they do have the top overall pick. And what are they going to do? And, what do they do with DeJounte? What do they do with Trae Young? And their general manager, he's doing a good job of not answering questions. Landry Fields, doing some interviews, was asked specifically about the Spurs, if anybody is off the table when it comes to trade talks.
I think that any discussions of our team on this call is probably not something I'm going to get into.
Good.
But just know, you and the rest of the fan base, that we are working to make sure that we are putting the best players out there that fit with Atlanta Hawks DNA.
Yeah, boy. Okay. Did you learn anything from that? No. Which is good. I mean, this time of year, like, you want to hear from all these people, but they don't tell you anything. The one part about that is, I mean, apparently there are conversations happening between the Spurs and the Hawks, because he was asked about San Antonio. Now, there is one person that is off the table in all trade talks. That's Wemby. Although, if you're Atlanta, do you ask? I mean, I guess you would, right? How do you not at least ask? But he is off the table. We certainly know that.
Is there a quicker way to get hung up on?
Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of sense of humor Brian Wright has, but I'm sure he gets a good laugh out of that. But if you're Atlanta, or any team for that matter, don't you at least have to ask? What would it take for Wemby? All right, now let's do some serious business. Because I mean, but I still, I'm just anxious to get there because I know in the next 24, 48 hours, we'll have a good idea of the direction the Spurs are going when it comes to how quickly they want to be competitive again with this rebuild. They've got the centerpiece in Wemby. You did that last year. Is it slow and methodical, draft young, maybe be in the lottery again next year for the stacked draft with all those picks, which I'm not a fan of, but I understand the business sense of you've got all these picks next year and the draft is stacked. So you want to be up there. I get that. I'm not patient that way. My Spurs fan in me isn't that patient. I'm tired of not being a part of the postseason party. I want them to get there. But if I were running the business, if I'm Brian Wright, if I'm Peter Holt, if I'm Pop, I can understand a very methodical approach to the rebuild. I get that. The fan in me does not like that. Also, if I'm Greg Popovich, he's not getting any younger. I would think he would want to get back to winning sooner rather than later. But I would like to see, maybe it happens today. The draft is tomorrow. Could they pull off a trade today? I mean, you got the 4 and you've got the 8. I don't need 2 rookies. I don't want 2 more rookies taken in the top 10. Trade one of those picks or both of those picks for an all-star caliber player. Doesn't even have to be an all-star, just all-star caliber. Doesn't have to be Trae Young. And again, I just think you can make better moves than Trae Young. You hear Landry Fields, the Hawks GM, talk about, Hawks DNA and, what is their DNA? What is their identity? With the Spurs, you know exactly what they are looking for. Does Trae Young fit the Spurs DNA? No. There are other guys out there that I think could come in and the Spurs can make a trade for that would be better fits for the Spurs, for Wemby, and accelerate the rebuild. I understand the cautious, slower approach because next year's draft is stacked and they've got picks. But man, the fan in me does not want to wait. I don't want to wait. I want to be a playoff team next year.
There's a downside to wanting to run up the stairs, though. There's a downside with everything you look at, but look at the teams that have tried to run up the stairs in recent years. Phoenix, the Brooklyn Nets, Giannis going all in on Dame Lillard. All of these teams fell flat on their face. The Bucks fired their coach halfway through the year.
I mean, I mean, sure. What I know about the Spurs front office is they wouldn't do a Bradley Beal type deal like Phoenix did. I wanted Dame in San Antonio. There was a lot of things in Milwaukee. I don't know, did they fall flat on their face or did they just not win a championship this year? I mean, they did fire their coach. There was obviously some things in there. And again, running up the stairs and being careless is one thing. Running up the stairs while watching every step as you go. I don't expect the Spurs to make an unspursian type move, but make a trade with a player that fits. That's partly why I've, ever since the Trae Young rumor started seemingly 6 months ago, I don't think he fits. That doesn't seem like a Spurs move. But at the same time, there are other players you could go get that can help speed things along. I'm not saying be a championship team next year. There's downsides to drafting 2 young players and taking this slow approach. It's going to take them time to acclimate to the NBA. What if they end up just not being good pros? There's a lot of top 10 picks out there that didn't do squat. So there's downside to everything, Pledge. I mean, I get what you're saying, but what was the term that Brian Wright used? Cautiously aggressive. Huh?
Cautiously aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems like the Spurs way. Like I said, the Bradley Beal type move, or, what we've seen in Brooklyn, I just don't see the Spurs doing something like that. Now, I look at the team that just won a championship, the way they're put together, the moves that they make, as far as additions and subtractions, that worked and got them a title. And that seems like something the Spurs would do. Bring in solid players that know their role, and you got a superstar or two. And you could debate now who's the better player on that team. Is it Tatum? Is it Brown? The reality is they complement each other. You look at Drew Holiday and what Derek White was able to do there. So those are the kind of moves if you were to look for an example of what I would want and expect the Spurs to do, I would look at a team like that, what Oak City has done. That seems to be a blueprint everybody wants to follow. And again, they didn't just draft all of those guys. They made some strategic moves. I don't see them doing, a James Harden type of deal or some things that the Clippers have done or Phoenix. So yeah, you can give examples of failures, and I can also give you examples of success, and that's what I expect the Spurs to do.
Remember though, Boston, they drafted a lot before they started tinkering with their lineup. Tatum and Brown have been in the league for 4 or 5 years before they really started messing with the core of that roster.
Sure. And they had some other players there that they had to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Marcus Smart,
and
DPOY.
So when you look at it, I understand the business side of going the slower approach. And again, hear what I'm saying. With the fan in me does not want the slow approach. I'm ready to get back to the playoff party. I understand if the Spurs are slow, the business that they're trying to do. There is a difference of saying what you want and what you expect. And I'm trying to do both because my patience.
You want to have your cake and eat it too.
I'm not overly greedy. But is your timeline not full, or your Facebook memories of championships? It was on this day, 1997, the Spurs drafted Tim Duncan.
Up until they just recently started this playoff missing streak, they hadn't missed the postseason in consecutive years in the entire history of the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, I understand fans' frustration with futility, but what do we always say about every good dynasty? You always got to go through it at some point. Spurs just happen to be in the middle of it.
5 years is long enough. 5 years is long enough. It's been 7 since we won a playoff series. I'm greedy.
I get it.
I'm greedy. But at least tomorrow night, we'll have an idea of what the Spurs are doing. And I'll be on board because I get, but at least tomorrow night, we'll have a really good idea of the direction and pace that they are going.
Maybe. Even if they'd use those picks, though, remember, until they're signed, they can be traded.
Well,
so
sure.
That's
they can all be traded. But again, tomorrow night, we'll have ideas. 24, 48 hours, we're going to have an idea of what they're doing. I mean, even if, they might draft a player that never comes here because he gets traded. That happened not long ago. Remember George Hill, Pop's favorite player. It happens. But at least we'll have idea tomorrow of the direction. Because,
And I think really that's all a lot of us want.
They're so forthcoming. So we got to wait till they make a move, have some action, and give us an idea of how quickly that rebuild is going to come. Yesterday we had the Moose, Daryl Johnston, 3-time Super Bowl champ on, talking about the UFL, talking about the Cowboys. It was kind of late in the show, so I want to kind of bring some things that he talked about yesterday with how the Cowboys are going to sign their 3 superstars in the cap situation that they're in. We'll dive into that coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Tonight, we usher in the next wave of NBA players.
The 2024 NBA Draft on ESPN Radio.
NBA teams tell me that Heat breaks their analytics models.
For the first time, the NBA Draft will expand to a 2-night event.
3 teams have expressed varying degrees of interest in Bronny James.
The 2024 NBA Draft.
Let's get the night started.
NBA coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1250 and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today. Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-948-5880. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-948-5880. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-948-5880.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof of twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz for Underdog Fantasy. You know, over 1 million fans are making money making picks on Underdog Fantasy. Join in on the fun during this Major League Baseball season. Play the MLB Pick'em game where you pick between 2 and 8 of your favorite baseball players and select higher or lower on stats like strikeouts, hits, and so much more. And if your picks are correct, you can win up to 325 times your money in a single night. Underdog is super easy and fun to play and easy to get started. Just go to UnderdogFantasy.com or their easy-to-use mobile app. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and your deposit offer. UnderdogFantasy.com.
Tomorrow morning at 6, let AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson drive you to work. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Eagle's off today. I'm Jason Minix. On Thursday, the Blitz is going to be live out at Retama Park. Going long on Thursday as well. It says 2 to 7. AJ Hoffman is going to sit in with me on Thursday out there at Retama. And apparently we're going to do play-by-play of some live horse racing because it's the opening of live horse racing. I've never done horse racing play-by-play.
You know the basics, though. Down the stretch they come. I mean, you've listened to it. We've played enough Kentucky Derby winning calls.
But this isn't the Kentucky Derby. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the one phrase we all know. But if there's maneuvering that I've got to figure out, I have no idea how this is going to go.
I have seen you call a bunch of things, including a burrito eating contest. I have no doubt you'll do just fine.
It'll be fun. We'll have some fun with it. The good news is those races don't last that long. I mean, the Okie burrito eating contest that I've emceed a handful of times at Las Palapas, watching 2 pounds of burrito disappear in seconds. Horse racing will be a breeze.
No reversals.
No, definitely no reversals. You hope not. You don't get a reversal on the track. That would be bad. That would be really bad. Really bad. So anyway, Thursday, Retama Park, where we're going to be. Come hang out with us. Come meet AJ Hoffman if you've yet to meet the newest member of San Antonio Sports Star. It's going to be fun. Also on Thursday, we'll give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. So if you've done some grilling over the last couple of days, make sure you upload those photos to the Grilling with the Blitz page at sasportstar.com. You know, yesterday talked with Daryl Johnston, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Cowboys, Fox broadcaster, VP of football operations for the UFL. And I love Daryl, and I know him pretty well. And one of the things that I really like, I think, is a fantastic broadcaster calling football. But he has gotten into the business side of football from a management standpoint. So I think from a former player perspective, broadcaster who talks to a lot of current players, obviously, coaches, GMs, front office types, and he's kind of a front office type. I appreciate the perspective that he offers because, well, quite frankly, he sees all sides of it. Although now that he's on the business side, is he looking at it more from the business side of things than, maybe from a player standpoint, which is fine because, you go through that. So we were talking yesterday on the Blitz, and you can hear the whole interview in the audio vault at sasportstar.com, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. And one of the things that I find interesting is it sounds like he's, maybe a little frustrated with his former boss and the way, because I asked him about, the inactivity of the Cowboys this offseason, and he immediately jumped to, they could have done this a whole lot sooner the way, I don't know, Andy Reid does things.
Well, I think you can look at their cap situation, and there was not going to be a lot that they can do, right? You've got Dak Prescott, you've got CeeDee Lamb, and you've got Micah Parsons. This is one of the things that I always admired Andy Reid about. Andy Reid was not afraid to go out and sign a big deal when he was sure that the player was who he thought he was when he drafted him. And it wasn't always somebody at the top of the draft. Sometimes that's a 3rd round, 4th round pick. And all of a sudden he's better than we thought. Well, let's lock this guy in right now. And you saw it with Patrick Mahomes. You know, Patrick Mahomes is the biggest bargain in the NFL right now, you know, signing a 10-year, $500 million contract. That's the greatness of Andy Reid, anticipating the ability to see down the road, the ability to be able to keep the core people around him. Or you got to have a Tom Brady, who all I want to do is win championships. I'll take a pay cut. I'll sign for a contract that's maybe not market value, because I know I have to have my swing tackle. I know I have to have my 3rd and 4th wide receiver. I know I have to have my nickel and dime back. You know, just all the other little pieces that you lose because these quarterback contracts are starting to eat up such a significant part of the cap.
Now, the quarterback contracts are getting out of whack. You've heard me say for years here on the Blitz that I think they need to take the quarterback contract and apply it to the salary cap in a different way than everybody else, whether it's a percentage of it or they can be in their own cap structure, or they can't eclipse, 14% of the salary cap, no matter what their number is. It's going to be there because it is becoming more difficult. But hearing him talk about Andy Reid, now we can all interpret things differently. I don't know if this is what he meant, but it's how I interpreted it. Andy Reid has the ability to forecast down the road on certain players that are the right fit, the right guy, whether it's a 1st round guy, a 4th round guy, it doesn't matter. Is he saying that the Cowboys don't have that ability, that Jerry doesn't have that ability, that Will McClay doesn't? And I don't, it's kind of a blanket statement, because Jerry does like to wait. For whatever reason, the Cowboys' philosophy is to wait. And it always seems to cost them more. It did the first time with Dak, and it's going to this time with Dak, because Dak wants shorter contracts. So Moose went on to say he's not sure how the Cowboys are going to be able to sign Dak, CeeDee, and Micah Parsons.
And if you do look at the positions that everybody talks about, it's quarterback, edge rusher, left tackle, corner, wide receiver. If those really are the 5 positions, and we're trying to make sure that we have the best players there, you look at Dallas, and they've got a quarterback, a wide receiver, and an edge rusher, stacked linebacker combination. Mike is very, very unique in how he plays it. You've got 3 of those 5 positions kind of already garnered on your team, but now you've got to figure out a way to get them all 3 signed. And because there wasn't an opportunity, just think if you would have signed Dak, early in that process to an 8-year contract.
Oh, come on.
Knowing that Will McClay is going to go out, he's going to bring in good players, and you're going to have to be able to find a way to sign those guys. I don't know how Dallas is going to be able to sign Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons.
It's a challenge. Now, I'm sure Jerry would love to sign Dak Prescott to an 8-year deal. Dak Prescott is not going to sign an 8-year contract. Now, and I don't think Daryl meant today, 8 years, earlier in the process. Like, don't get to this point. But Dak has shown, and his agent has shown, they want short deals so they can get back to the negotiating table sooner. They always want to be near the top of the food chain when it comes to quarterback salaries. Different mindset for Patrick Mahomes. He signed a baseball type of contract that he was comfortable with, and when he signed it, it was ridiculous. Now it's a bargain. It won't be long, though, before he is back at the negotiating table. And I remember when Lee Steinberg and Chris Cabot originally did that contract, while it's a 10-year deal, it's got some parts in there where they know they're going to renegotiate, and Patrick will at some point will be back up near the top of the food chain when the salaries get there. I just look at what the Cowboys and the mess that they are in. And if a guy like Daryl Johnston, who understands this aspect of all of this and the salary cap probably better than you and I and most people out there that don't have 3 different math degrees to figure that stuff out, if he's saying that, you really have to wonder, and is that why the Cowboys just, I don't want to say they haven't done anything, but they haven't done anything. And do you tell CeeDee Lamb, dude, you're not Justin Jefferson. You're not going to get $35 million. And And I've said before, of the three, CD would be the one I wouldn't sign. Say what you want about Dak Prescott, but you don't have his replacement ready to go. The Cowboys haven't done, say, what Green Bay did in drafting Jordan Love and letting him sit behind Aaron Rodgers and learn and be ready to take over when he's ready. And I don't think that Jerry Jones, at this point in his life, at his age, wants to just let Dak walk, get nothing for him, and start over. Trey Lance isn't the answer. Cooper Rush isn't the answer. So without a quarterback of the future on your roster, and unless the Cowboys make some sort of move, but are you going to find a quarterback right now that's better than Dak Prescott? And again, I know Dak Prescott has, a crappy playoff record, and he hasn't gotten it done when it matters most. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's hard to find somebody better than Dak that would be available, because all the guys that you're going to name that are better, in your top 10 list, and Dak is always somewhere around 7, 8, 9. None of those guys are going anywhere. So the Cowboys are truly, between that rock and a hard place. And it's all on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones for not planning for the future. And they didn't plan for the future, quite honestly, when they got Dak. He was a 4th-round guy. He was the 3rd guy behind Kellen Moore and Tony Romo. They got lucky as hell. Teams get lucky. San Francisco and Brock Purdy. But at least they had the guy in the building and went, oh, you know what? This guy's pretty good. Oh, Tony Romo was that way. An undrafted guy. This guy's pretty good. Let's keep him around. The Cowboys haven't done that. Maybe they're hoping that could be that way with Trey Lance, but chances are it isn't there. Although I don't know if anybody has seen enough of Trey Lance to truly know. And we'll see him in 3 preseason games in August. We'll see him in training camp in Oxnard. Go from there. I just, so I think the Cowboys will end up signing Dak, and Mike is going to get paid. If you have to take only 2 because you can't afford to keep 3, CD would be the odd man out. Wide receivers all over the draft. I can go, and again, it's hard to replace a CD Lamb and his production and what he means, but there's a lot of wide receivers out there, and I do see the wide receiver market in the very near future going the way of the running back, because there are so many out there. And with those salaries, how do you keep paying those guys? It's going to be tough.
The difficult thing with CD Lamb is there have been a lot of great receivers in Cowboy history. He sits atop the records.
He does.
He is really, really good. And as a matter of fact, I thought he was the most important piece of the Cowboys offense last season.
Outside of Dak?
Including Dak.
I mean, I think to me, you got to take the quarterback out of that. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying I want to get rid of CeeDee Lamb, but if I've got to pay 3, I can go get another wide receiver. I can replace a wide receiver easier than I can replace a quarterback or Micah Parsons. Right? Again, I don't want CD to go anywhere, and I know he sits atop the record books, but when you look at, say, the amount of passes thrown in offenses in 2024 versus, I don't know, when Michael Irvin was playing, or I don't know, when Drew Pearson was playing, I mean, yeah, he should be at the top of the record books, but I can replace a wide receiver easier than I can replace a quarterback, or I don't even know, can you replace a Micah Parsons with everything that he brings? Although,
I look at Micah as...
Although I will say this, though. I'll argue with myself. I can hide not having Micah easier with the defense and scheme than I can not having a CD line.
Yeah. Dak Prescott's playoff failures. From November on, every year he's been in the league, Micah Parsons kind of no-shows once you get past Thanksgiving.
Yeah. His sack numbers in the playoffs aren't very good. But it's always Dak's fault. You got to remember that. For Cowboy haters out there, it's always, Cowboy fans for that matter. No matter what goes wrong, it's Dak's fault. It's in the contract. which is why he's going to get $60 million because that's part of it. Well, I saw a guy pull a James Pledger. I was reading about him today. Saw him on Pat McAfee's show. Drinks a couple of beers and then qualifies for a PGA Tour event. Just roll out of bed and drink and go get it done. Plus, the Hard Knocks trailer is out for the off-season, in-season thing. It looks pretty interesting. We'll dive into that coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Guys, you know your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. So if you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, could be caused by low T. You just need to get your levels checked at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. You don't want to put it off. You want to make sure you're taking care of your health because as we age, you might lack some energy, motivation. Maybe you've gained a little weight, all potential symptoms of low T. Easy fix. Get checked. Get your results back at your first visit because at Synergenics, they have an on-site lab. First thing to do is take that first step to get your levels checked. Go book an appointment at fixmylowt.com. fixmylowt.com. And if you need it, Synergenics, you're going to get customized care from medical providers who specialize in testosterone treatment. And if you're just struggling losing weight, you can also be evaluated for treatment with prescription weight loss medication. Book your appointment online, fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Riding 281 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
My friends swim no matter the season. Psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, I guess I've got to do Sports Center, huh? Texas A&M, their baseball season is over. They came up short last night in Omaha. They lost to Tennessee 6-5 in the winner-take-all Game 3 of the College World Series, and they might lose their coach to UT.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle has the day off. Hell, the week off for that matter. I'm Jason Minix. Tough day for the Texas A&M Aggies. I know if you went to Blink 182 tonight, you're hurting today. If you went last night, you're hurting today. Aggies are hurting today. Lose in the College World Series, and I don't want to pick at a scab for Aggies. I really don't, because I was rooting for the Aggies yesterday. The idea that they came up short in the national championship game, that's a sting. But in the process, UT fires their baseball coach yesterday. And there's all kinds of rumors that the Aggies coach, Jim Schlossnagle, is one of the candidates to be the new coach at UT. So you lose a national championship, and then you might lose your coach to your biggest rival. That sucks. Now, last night, with all these rumors, and I understand timing is everything, but when you get a chance and you're in the media, and it sucks to be the guy asking the question just as much as it sucks for the guy on the podium answering it. You know, Spurs last game, you lose a game, and your season is over. Pop, you coming back next year because you don't know when you're going to get to ask, and that's just part of the job. It sucks. Well, last night, they lose 6-5 in the College World Series. Schlossnagle is doing the interview, and he gets asked about the UT rumors.
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it.
All right.
Write that.
Oh, yeah. And then he walks off the podium. Boom. Yeah. All right. 10 minutes ago, Brent Zorneman from the Houston Chronicle, Insiders, A&M's Schlossnagle has decision to make between staying at A&M, heading to rival Texas, a decision likely by Tuesday night. Aggies brass trying to convince him to stay. I get what he said last night he had to say. Coaches lie through their teeth in situations like this. It comes with the territory. It really does. Until they got the new, they got a current job. But man, that sucks. I think that might actually sting more than losing the national championship would be to lose your coach to a rival. And we're just a couple of days away from Texas officially putting SEC on all their uniforms. July 1st, that becomes official.
Although, all that being said, love to have him as the head coach at Texas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You think about the standards. Pierce failed to win a national championship in 8 years. 2 straight years without a College World Series appearance. Here's $2 million to go away. 1.68, I think, is what I read his buyout's going to be. They mutually agreed to leave. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a tough day for the Aggies even tougher. I can promise you that. Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
You know, I was watching Pat McAfee earlier today, and they had this guy on. And I was trying to figure out, why would you talk to a guy that qualified, as an amateur? He qualified for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. So basically, the story is, he works at Golf Galaxy, and he's got to call into work because he's busy, because he actually qualified for this tournament. He went out and drank 3 beers after his round because he was getting ready. He shot a 65, which is pretty good. I mean, that's actually better than what James Pledger could roll out of bed to do. But that was only good enough to get him into a playoff. And before the playoff started, Did went up to the bar and had a couple 3 beers, literally 3 beers, and then went out and won the playoff. It's pretty incredible. It's a James Pledger type story.
That's even better than mine.
His name is Nick Bynes. Never played a PGA Tour sanctioned event. Never played in a bigger event than the State Open. He did play college golf, so he's a hell of a golfer. Pounded 3 beers before the playoff and qualified for the Rocket Mortgage. That guy's going to have a story when he gets back to work at Golf Galaxy.
Well, we are creatures of habit and also very superstitious in a way. I'm wondering if he needs to crush 3 beers before the first round at the Rocket Mortgage.
I would certainly imagine that it would be likely. Calm the nerves. Whatever you need to do. It is pretty impressive.
It's very impressive.
It's a great story. That's why he was on McAfee. So yeah, it's good story. Although the quote of him, I'm supposed to be there at 7:30 in the morning. I don't think that's going to happen. I have to call my boss and call out of work tomorrow.
Got a pretty good reason.
He's got a pretty good reason. I just hope he has an understanding boss.
I would think, Golf Galaxy would understand the publicity that this could bring to the store.
Well, I mean, sure. But at the same time, you got to find somebody to cover for you at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I mean, he might make enough money that he won't need to work at Golf Galaxy anymore.
It's the dream.
Yeah. It's part of it. I had forgotten that we get all these new Hard Knocks series premiering July 2nd on HBO Max. You get Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants. Now, quite honestly, when I first heard about this Hard Knocks series, I wasn't overly excited about it. I am a big fan of Hard Knocks, but I kind of feel like it's run its course. The in-season Hard Knocks haven't been all that good, although, Miami last year was kind of entertaining, but honestly, I don't know that I finished it. I don't remember. The one with Arizona was lacking in a lot of ways. Because we see so much from the social media teams that each team has. They put out so much content that used to be what made Hard Knocks so special. Well, if the trailer is any indication of what we're going to get from Hard Knocks offseason with the New York Giants, I'm down.
New York Giants are now on the clock.
We should stay and pick, right? This is Atlanta. What are you thinking?
Our team's not built. We're still adding pieces, but we still have the draft and free agency.
What about Brian Burns? Have you looked at Brian Burns? We would have to trade like 2 2s, and then you have to pay him $28-29 million.
Breaking news. Brian Burns to the New York Giants.
I'm a G-man.
With the 6th pick, the New York Giants select Malik Neighbors.
You ready to be a New York Giant?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. I am 5 months from the surgery, so progressing that. I've gotten hurt, but not like this.
When you win here, it's unlike anywhere else. If you lose, they're going to be on your ass. It's New York, man.
He's doing everything he can to get back on the field.
Saquon, can you give me your word on that, or are you not going to give us a chance?
My job is to do what's best for the franchise.
Let's go.
Dude, that Saquon call, if we get real stuff like that, I'm down. I mean, that was good stuff. And the trade for Burns, you go back and you look up the GM that was talking, thinking 2 2s, and then you got to pay him $29 million. That's what he said. But when the trade happened, they only gave up a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick swap, a 5th-round pick and a swap of 5th-rounders. So he wasn't near as expensive, which I don't know if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're happy that that's out there because they were projecting to spend a lot more for that guy. The $28 million was right on the money. And they getting 28.2 after signing a 5-year, $141 million contract,
which is a bargain when you see what edge rushers are making.
Yeah. So I mean, you just look at it like if that's what we're going to get from in season, or off season, Hard Knocks, real behind the scenes, I'm down. I'm down. The trailer was fantastic. Again, it's what you expect from Hard Knocks and the access, because that's one of the things that, Hard Knocks, when they're at training camp and the in season, they don't give away as much, but if you could see how deals are getting worked out, or, and I'm very interested to see how things went down with Barkley, because, if I remember right, didn't Barkley feel a little unwanted? Like they don't want me anymore?
He felt unwanted, and also there was the tampering allegations against Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So July 2nd on Max, off season with the New York Giants.
I'll get you up to training camp.
That's the idea.
A little water in the desert.
That's the idea. I mean, you look at it. I mean, that's exactly what it's there for. I saw this in the Express News. Bluebell is going to unretire a flavor, and they're doing it in a bracket type format for voting with 16 flavors that apparently they retired. Now, I'm looking at some of these flavors, wondering, are these real or are they making stuff up? I don't remember blueberry cheesecake. Cookie cake, I kind of remember. Creole cream cheese. That sounds not good. Gingerbread house, groom's cake, hot fudge brownie, key lime pie, lemon bliss.
I remember key lime.
Yeah, strawberry cheesecake.
Ooh,
that actually sounds good in Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah. So is the blueberry cheesecake. Any cheesecake flavor.
Raspberry fudge brownie. That just doesn't sound good to me. Triple chocolate. How do you retire triple chocolate? How do you retire? Do they still have the Great Divide?
I think that's still a thing.
Is that still?
Yeah.
Well, because Bluebells, they got so many flavors out there.
I was today years old when I learned they retired flavors.
That's it. I mean, to Bluebell, you can go to their website and you can vote all week long, and the winning flavor is going to return in 2025.
We're going to go start voting on all the cheesecake flavors.
Well, I mean, you can keep the blueberry cheesecake. That sounds awful. But there are so many flavors out there, and I'm kind of generic. Although I did get their root beer float flavor that's just out. That's really good.
Have you tried their Dr. Pepper float?
Is that Bluebell or was that a Whataburger thing?
It's Bluebell.
Oh,
They got a Dr. Pepper float flavor.
I don't know that I've tried that one.
Pretty good.
Is it pretty good? Yeah, I'm a chocolate, Dutch chocolate, vanilla. I like just a vanilla ice cream with a shot of Fireball on it.
French vanilla.
Mint chocolate chip. With some of those other flavors, I don't know. But we always just get the small ones because we don't eat ice cream like daily.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting flavors.
The pints are the way to go anyway.
Yeah. It's just easier that way. But if there's a flavor that you've been missing from Bluebell, you might be able to have a hand in bringing it back. EA Sports College Football 25, which I know a lot of people are excited about. Pledge is very excited about it. They've come out with a ranking of the 25 toughest places to play. Interesting who's on top. We'll dive into that coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're dealing with any kind of injury, you need to know about the Sports Institute, the Ortho Now Injury Clinic at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. At Ortho Now, they provide walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
94.1 FM.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Mark your calendars. Live horse racing is back in season at Retama Park. Gates open at 5:30 Thursday. Get your tickets online at retamapark.com. Retama Park, where the excitement begins. See you at the races.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When something happens to your car, you might say, But what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And just like that, State Farm is there to help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
4th of July appliance savings are happening now at the Home Depot. Save up to $2,400 on select kitchen packages from brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. Get the LG French door refrigerator with craft ice to keep your summer cool. Or upgrade to the LG Smart Top Load Washer with AI that selects optimal wash motions and settings. Get up to $2,400 off select kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid June 19th through July 10th, U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94-1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
You want me to just start talking? No music? Thought I was hearing a little Blink 182, and then nothing happened.
You did.
Well, what happened, Pledge?
It jumped the element.
Oh. Mm-hmm. It was a rough night for James Pledger last night. He's hurting today. The Blink 182 show, and you're all ready to play some Blink and be ready to try to give yourself some energy, like a little jolt of coffee, and it jumped an element, whatever that means. It jumped an element. It's radio lingo with the computer.
Means exactly what it sounds like.
It jumped an element.
It jumped the element.
You know, there are a lot of things you could come up with that jumped the element could be a phrase for. It jumped the element. You're an EA Sports guy.
I very much am.
You are very excited about this college football video game. Which doesn't it drop here pretty soon?
Yeah, it should be coming out later this month.
They put out a ranking of the toughest places to play. Their top 25 toughest places to play in the video game, which I find interesting because the video game is supposed to be real. They got Texas A&M, Kyle Field at number 1 on their list. Now, that is a tough environment to go and play in, and I get that. But would you put Kyle Field at number 1 in all of college football? I mean, no offense, because I think A&M probably has a top 5 home field advantage, but number 1. I think about LSU. I think that one would be right up there as the toughest place. Penn State, I think, would be right up there. Michigan, Ohio State. I just don't know that I would think Kyle Field would be number 1. They're not even number 1 in the SEC. What did they do in this video game to try to make that work?
Well, the video game, so to make it realistic, the crowd noise can have a genuine effect in terms of your ability to run certain routes. Like everything kind of just gets taken askew in the gameplay and makes what are normal tasks a lot harder in terms of running a route, completing a pass. It amplifies the difficulty level of completing a task.
Sure, I get that, but I mean, would you put A&M at number 1?
I've never been to A&M, but everything I've heard, is 110,000 strong. If you would have asked me toughest place to play, A&M probably would have been the first place I mentioned.
Not LSU.
Not LSU, because we always talk about Death Valley at night. It's a different animal at night. And if you have to caveat when is the most difficult place with a time of day,
Alabama, I think, would be right up there. Doesn't matter when there's a mistake. Now, does that change with the head coach? Maybe. Ohio State, Michigan, the big house, Penn State. And I think A&M's a different place at night. I think a lot of places are, but I mean, LSU, it's just because everybody's all liquored up. A&M in August, like when Notre Dame comes rolling in on August 31st, it's going to be 1,000 degrees. So, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I just thought it was interesting that A&M was the top of that list. On their top 25, they've got Texas at 19.
Yeah, it's a fair weather
Well,
fan
that's
base.
it. I've never looked at a Texas. DKR isn't. I mean, it's a nice home field advantage. There's always a big crowd. It's fun, but it's not intimidating. I don't think a lot of teams come in there intimidated by the crowd there. Now, I will say this, and I'm a Longhorn fan. I have more fun at the Texas A&M games that I've gone to than at the Texas Longhorn games that I've gone to. And the crowd, the tailgating, everything about an A&M football game is incredible. I mean, it's one of those scenes. If you've never gone, you've got to put that on your bucket list and go, because even if you're not an Aggie fan, because just the college football environment is incredible. So much more so than at UT.
There's more pageantries and traditions and
Absolutely.
things that they do at Texas A&M. Texas, I compare it to like DKR's like Jerry World.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's an event. It's got all of these bells and whistles and stuff. The coolest thing's the student walk on the way into the stadium.
Well, and again, I mean,
and the band march.
College football and the pageantry and tradition. And it's hard to say anything negative about A&M's tradition and the pageantry that comes with it. They do a lot of stuff that, if you didn't go there, you kind of find weird. But it's fun. When you're in that environment, it's so much fun. Just, what you saw in the hotel the other day in Omaha, watching that baseball team return home today, and the crowd that was there, and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't know that I put A&M's home field advantages is number one in the country. Again, I look at Ohio State, I think Penn State, Georgia, Bama, LSU, and I know you can caveat LSU at night, but it's still a tough place to play during the day. But at night, it's completely different. There's a couple on this list that I find interesting. I mean, Mississippi State, is that just because cowbell, which is just annoying as hell?
Mm-hmm.
So, but does that make it tough? They've got Boise State on the list.
The blue field, the blue turf.
All right. I mean, all right, whatever. Tennessee is at 13, Clemson at 12, Oregon at 11. Oregon's a tough place to go play.
I've heard Austin Stadium is loud.
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at some of those, and again, Aggies at number one, toughest place to play in a video game. But in real life, where would you put them? I mean, I still think they're up there in the top 5, maybe 10, but I don't know that I'd put A&M at number one. And I think, some of that is, quite frankly, how can you be the top toughest place home field when you've lost a bunch of games at home? I mean, I think, as I'm thinking this through, don't you just have to have just a dominant home record to say this is one of the toughest places to go play?
I mean, sure, but USC won a lot back in the day. Didn't mean their home field was the greatest.
Sure, I'm with you there. Now, you want to talk about best environment as opposed to toughest place to play? A&M would be right up there.
I think one of the coolest things they do is that lock arms and the sway with the 110,000 strong. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you should go to a game.
Been trying.
Yeah, do you think you can't tell me you've been trying to go to a game? You're 43 years old. If you wanted to go to an Aggie game, you can go to an Aggie game. You can get tickets. Now, you might not get tickets to, I don't know, the Texas game. That might be a little bit out of the price range. But, there's some games on that schedule that you go, all right, there's going to be tickets available for those games. Like last one I went at A&M was the South Carolina game a couple years ago. Those are fairly easy tickets to come by. I went and saw Alabama and A&M play maybe 5-6 years ago. That was a harder ticket to get. And I think though we were way up at the top, and it felt like I paid for 50-yard line seats about 10 rows up. Goes with the territory.
I almost got tickets to, luckily I didn't, but it was the year that they lost to, was it Louisiana or Appalachian State? It wasn't App State. It was Louisiana Monroe, I think. It was
probably La Tech.
Maybe La Tech. It was raining. It was cold. It was in around Thanksgiving time of year. It was a brutal game. It was low scoring. It was ugly, and the weather reflected how I probably would have felt at that game.
I'm trying to remember of all the bad Aggie losses. The La Tech game, didn't that happen on the road?
No, I don't think it was a loss. I think it was just a horrible game. It was like 13-9 and
that's lovely.
Raining and 40. I was bullet dodged.
Yeah. Yeah. John Sobery says something about you don't get all the time off I get.
I've got so much time off. I just don't use it.
See, that's where you're wrong. Pledger, I mean, I've been here 16 years. You've been here what, 10, 11? How long did it take?
So
you get a ton of
I'm at
vacation
14,
days.
I think.
You get a ton of vacation days. So yeah, he could certainly
I have the ability.
He has actually you don't. You're not allowed to take time off. Edwin gets salty when you do.
Apparently, I heard he was a little angry yesterday.
He was a little angry yesterday. Let's talk about some of these Spurs rumors as we get ready for the NBA draft, which starts tomorrow. Picks 4 and 8. If they take them both, is there a player that you just want, that you just know the Spurs have to grab? We'll talk about that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Tonight, we usher in the next wave of NBA players.
The 2024 NBA Draft on ESPN Radio.
NBA teams tell me that he breaks their analytics models.
For the first time, the NBA Draft will expand to a 2-night event.
3 teams have expressed varying degrees of interest in Bronny James.
The 2024 NBA Draft.
Let's get the night started.
NBA coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1250 and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, I want to tell you about Parkhurst New Vision. You've heard me talking about Parkhurst New Vision because, well, I'm very happy that I met those folks and took advantage of what they do. Last summer, I had lens replacement surgery, and let me tell you something. I see better now than I've seen in 30 years. In fact, my results were so good, my wife Maggie had her eyes done at Parkhurst New Vision, and she is loving the results as well. You can be just like us. Go see the folks at Parkhurst New Vision. Get rid of those glasses. Get rid of those readers. Give them a call, 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call and set up your consultation, first thing I want you to do, if you would, tell them I sent you, Joe Reinagle from The Blitz. Second thing you're going to do is get out your list of questions and concerns. They will answer each and every one. Let Parkhurst New Vision do for you like they have done for my family. Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells fried chicken?
ROLAIDS.
Fourth cup of coffee?
Still ROLAIDS.
Extra cheesy pizza?
Rolaids always spells relief. Rolaids' powerful dual-active formula begins neutralizing acid on contact to fight your heartburn fast. So, when life spells heartburn, Rolaids spells relief. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
Joel, I'm proud to introduce my latest in-summer relaxation relief-cation. I call it the Quarter Moon Grill and Go. It's a stainless steel propane gas grill with this, a full-size urinal. If you're gonna grill and you gotta go, it's the Grill and Go.
Folks, at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we fix plumbing and AC issues fast and at a fair price. 210-651-5899.
Grill and
Go away, Nigel. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC.
License number TACLA 88589E M16004.
Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
You knew Pledge was going to come back with some Blink 182 after fumbling early in the show. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Egel on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing. Tuesday afternoon. Blink 182 concert last night. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the new hoodie that James Pledger purchased at the show last night. He's wearing it today, modeling it. You realize it's 100 degrees outside. This isn't hoodie season.
It is here.
What do you mean it is here?
It's always cold in the studios.
It's according to my phone, 95 outside.
I'm not outside.
You're not outside. But we're in the same studio, although there is a wall and a window between us. But if I can wear shorts and a golf shirt, and I'm the one that's always cold, it seems like you should not be wearing a hoodie. You should not be. It's not hoodie season. Now, last week when I was in Wyoming and it was snowing, you needed a hoodie.
Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole. Actually, you know what I learned about being in Jackson Hole? The city's actually called Jackson. But it's kind of in a valley behind a couple of mountain ranges. And so that's where the Hole part comes in. But I always thought the city was Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And it's not. It's just Jackson, Wyoming.
It was funny. I guess you got home Friday?
Sure.
So Sunday, I was watching, flipping through channels, trying to find something to watch. And guys, diners, drive-ins, and dive, they were doing show Wyoming.
Cool.
I was like, oh, man. Minix was just there.
I was just there. It was fun. And I was at Yellowstone. I'm not a Yellowstone, the TV show, Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really watched that I know a lot of people out there, you love Yellowstone. What's the deal? Costner quitting the show?
I'm not a Yellowstone person either.
A lot of people apparently upset that Costner is leaving the show. I will say this, though. After going to Yellowstone National Park last week, on the plane home, and then I finished it when we got home, Costner narrates a 4-part series on the Fox Nation app on the 50th anniversary of Yellowstone. It's fascinating. It is. It was fascinating, and I'm glad I watched it after I went to Yellowstone, because I think I appreciated the documentary more than had I watched it before. And a lot of it, like, oh, I was just there, I saw that, and some of the background that goes with it. It's fascinating watch because we are getting to that time of year where we're gonna have to figure out what shows do we have that will carry us through football season. We got about 2 months of because I don't count preseason football. So until we get to September, so July, August, that's a lot of binge watching television.
This is the only time you got to catch up on anything that you may be missing.
Catch up or start something new. And there's so many different services out there. If you got ideas, because it's about that time. I don't think that I have anything right now that is bingey. We started something on Amazon, but it drops new episodes like every Tuesday. And I'm becoming less of a fan of shows that are like that, because I don't want to, I'm at the point where I just 2 or 3 and then go from there. Do a little binge watching. I don't want every Tuesday. Here's the show, because I don't get back to them and I forget. Then you kind of start over.
It's like Cobra Kai. I was talking earlier today to Iris up front, and Cobra Kai got to a point where it's just been gone for so long. We had to kind of remember how the last season even ended.
Is Cobra Kai coming back?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they left it on a cliffhanger.
When's it coming back?
It's supposed to be coming this year, later this year.
All right. Yeah, maybe. It's like Bear is apparently dropping new stuff on Hulu. We'll see. I remember watching that, but again, it's been so long. Yeah, it's so different how we all consume television.
If I was a binger, that's why I always like the week-to-week shows. A, the appointment setting purpose, and also B, just the entire, because you never know who you can talk around people, if they've seen it, if they haven't seen it.
It's interesting how television shows have changed. And it's funny how you say it that way, because as I process this, there was a time when, in radio, like when I was doing morning radio, and a lot of TV shows that happened that night, you talk about it the next morning, whether you're talking about Friends going away or The Sopranos or, whatever those big shows that everybody was watching. Everybody watched at the same time, and you would do, you would talk about it and people get mad. That's where spoiler alert, I think, came in. But you didn't care. You just talked about it because, everybody watched it the night before. It was before DVRs, and before, if you missed it, you missed it. You weren't going to see it again. And then the DVR came along, and now I can watch stuff on my own time. And now with apps, it really is completely different. But we don't get that typical show where there's the conversation that's driving the bus. I mean, we did with The Last Dance during COVID, but I think a big part of the success of that was it was COVID. We were all stuck at home and there were no sports, and that was all you could do. But the idea that, like with The Sopranos or, the finale of Friends, you talked about it. You didn't say spoiler alert if you missed it, because everybody watched it or you weren't going to see it.
But nowadays, with them dropping everything at once, maybe I've only got time for a couple of episodes. Somebody else binged the entire show the night it dropped.
But none of these shows are a part of the national conversation anymore. TV shows used to be a big part of the national conversation. There are popular shows that get talked about, but a lot of us find shows because you'll say, "Hey man, did you watch this?" Or you see somebody post about it. "Oh, let me go check it out." But we don't watch it at the same time. And with the exception of sports, if you don't DVR games, I'll watch that next Tuesday. You don't do that. But with shows, there's television has lost that communal effect of, we all got a gazillion apps. Talk to Rob Thompson. Rob, man, you see this? Oh, I watched that about 6 months ago. Hell, I just found out about it. Why didn't you tell me? There's that kind of stuff. Or it's just interesting how the watching television has changed so much.
It's kind of killed the whole water cooler talk to where everybody, the entire nation is watching something together at the same time.
There's not that community anymore. There's nothing that drives the national conversation. And if we were going to talk about, I don't know, name a show, we'd say, well, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you about it, but we don't even talk about them. I might say, hey, this is a good show. This is a good series, and you can go watch it, but we're not going to have major conversations about it. I think Yellowstone, to a degree, might be that way for those that watch it. But even then, it's nothing like what we had 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, Reacher doesn't give us that. Like there aren't shows that we can all kind of rally behind like we used to. And part of it might just be the oversaturation of the market in terms of the ability to watch a bunch of different things. There's too many options now.
No, I think but yeah, no, I think there are a lot of options, but we do it we consume at our own pace and our own time. The community effect of Thursday night, 8:00, this was the show and you had to watch it, or Sopranos was Sunday night. This is what you had to do. And this is when is going to be on. That's gone away. Period.
The death of great network television?
Yeah. Or any television for that matter. Now, there will be a TV show tomorrow that we're all going to watch, and we will be talking about it on Thursday. It's called the NBA Draft. It's now a 2-night affair. Not sure why we need 2 nights of the NBA Draft. Does anybody give a damn about watching Thursday night, the second round guys, the Bronny James show? I'll just get that on Twitter. Tomorrow night, though, must-see television with the Spurs having picks 4 and 8. One of the things that you look at when you start preparing for what the Spurs are going to do, and it's crazy that this NBA draft is so strange because there isn't a consensus number 1 overall pick. There's not even a consensus top 5. You look at so many different mock drafts and they're all over the place. You look at, and there's a lot of names that are being associated with the San Antonio Spurs. And a big part of that is we have no idea what these Spurs are going to do. We all feel like they need a point guard. Yep. And they need another big, a front court mate for Wemby. That's pretty easy. Then you look at mock drafts and they've got 2 guards going to San Antonio. That makes no sense to me. There's the Castle kid from UConn is one that's getting linked a lot to San Antonio. And if they want him, they've got to take him at number 4. I don't think he'll be around at number 8. I think that's pretty safe. At number 8, all bets are off on what the Spurs might do. Kentucky, sure. Another guard, though, do you really see them drafting 2 guards? I just don't see them drafting 2 guards, at least not for the Spurs. Really meant for somebody else in a trade that happens later on. That's certainly a possibility, whether it's a couple days, couple months from now, or later that night. But you do expect with 2 top 10 picks, you're going to get either two really good players that might take some time, or what I would like to see the Spurs do is package one, if not both of those picks, for an all-star caliber player and expedite the rebuild. I get the slow process in what we've heard with the Spurs and, looking at with an eye on next year's draft because it's deep and the Spurs have a ton of picks thanks to Atlanta. I get that from the business side. As a fan, that's not what I want. As a Spurs fan, I want to see them expedite quickly and be back into playoff contention sooner rather than later. I get the idea that Wemby also wants to win sooner rather than later. But as I talked about yesterday, I do think there is a trust that's been built between Wemby and the Spurs front office and his team. When I was on vacation, and I imagine, Pledge, you and Joe talked about this, one of the things that I saw, was Wemby's camp demanding the Spurs do some things. And I just look at that and I just laugh. And I don't know if you guys were talking about that. I would assume that you did. I saw that and I went, well, that's stupid. Now, there might be a time when Wemby's camp is a little demanding, but I don't know that it's now. Everything that I've seen and heard from Victor, he's on board with the Spurs plan. I think he's fully aware of what the plan is, and he probably has a lot of input, as he should have a lot of input. He's the most important person in the franchise as they're building everything around him in this generational talent. You want to make sure that he's on board. I have no problem with that. But I do think, and it always sounds like there is a level of trust. And that started really kind of before the draft even happened last year, before he officially became a member of the Spurs, a Spur, and just his team that is integrated with what the Spurs already have. It just seems like there is a good working relationship, a trust between the front office and Wemby and Wemby's camp and his advisors. So you got to build it around him. I want to see them winning a lot sooner. And I think he wants to win a lot sooner, but I think he'll be on board with what that plan is. Because if you draft two players tomorrow night at 4 and at 8, and quite honestly, if they traded down and picked in the teens with that 8 pick, I like with this draft and with this team, I think any scenario you want to throw out at me is viable. Trade both picks for an all-star? Sure. Draft 2 young players? Sure. Trade down because you think that the player you want will be there at 13. You don't need him at 8. I could see that happening too. I mean, we've seen the Spurs, with 2. Now, it's been a while. Keldon and Luka,
Sandwich.
Sam, yeah, that dude. What was that? 19 and 29. They got the right guys in the wrong order. So I mean, like I said, with this draft, the intrigue is we have no idea what the Spurs are going to do. It's 3:54. Their draft is tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice if they pulled off a trade, get a little Woj bomb in the next 15 minutes? Everybody's in New York. The media availability is happening with the different players. All that kind of stuff is happening. If the Spurs are going to make a trade, they could. They don't have to wait until tomorrow. I want that. That's what I'm hoping for. 2 rookies in another rough year. As a fan, it's not what I want. I understand if that's their plan because the draft next year is so stacked. And what I want and what I think might happen can be 2 very different things. But at least tomorrow night with the draft, we have an idea of the direction and pace that the Spurs are going to be taking as far as this rebuild goes. We'll talk more about the draft coming up. 4:35, Jeff McDonald from the San Antonio Express News. He will join us. We'll heading in to the NBA draft. He just posted an article at the Express News website that he tweeted out. 10 names to know as you get ready for the draft for potential Spurs 4 and 8. And then you could probably come up with 15, maybe 20, because this draft it's wide open and no indication of what the Spurs are going to do. It's going to be an interesting time tomorrow. Can't wait to get there. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Aggies lose in the College World Series, and they might lose their coach. We're talking about it next on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Testosterone levels in men can start to decrease as early as 30 years old, and long-term health risks can be extremely damaging to your body. Rock's Discount Vitamins carries a variety of natural testosterone boosters that can immediately provide you with more energy, increased libido, increased metabolism, and improve your mood. Rock's Discount Vitamins natural testosterone boosters can even help you build muscle and lose weight faster. With 11 San Antonio locations, visit rocksdiscountvitamins.com. Thanking God and South Texas for all the support.
Maybe it's time to ask your checking account. What have you done for me lately? My Advantage Checking from Generations Federal Credit Union does more. My Advantage Checking pays you 2 days early, plus shopping rewards, identity protection, and much more. My Advantage Checking treats you right. So make the switch. Learn more at Generations Federal Credit Union. Member owned, community grown. Member eligibility requirements apply. For complete terms and conditions, visit mygenfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Have pain? Have chronic pain, low back pain, knee pain, neck pain, or shoulder pain? I can help. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we get to the root of your pain. We don't just give pain medications. We do the proper investigation to see what is the root cause, and it's covered by your insurance. Reduce your medication, avoid surgery, and get rid of pain for good. Call for your free evaluation. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, where we get to the root cause of your problem. 210-468-1891.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Replace stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text LONG to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best in the nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text LONG to 200-300. Text the word LONG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text LONG to 200-300.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Texas A&M Aggies came up short in Omaha. Tennessee beat A&M 6-5 last night in the winner-take-all Game 3 of the College World Series. The Florida Panthers hoisted the Stanley Cup last night. They beat Edmonton in Game 7. Major League Baseball, the Rangers play Milwaukee tonight. The Astros take on the Colorado Rockies, and the Missions, they're home against Midland Rockhounds.
Joe Schlossnagle.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Schlossnagle on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. Tuesday afternoon. Appreciate you tuning in, whether you're listening on the radio, listening online, one of the variety of streaming services, all the different platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. If you're there, you can comment, hit the thumbs up button, all that good stuff. Talk some Spurs basketball coming up in about a half hour. Jeff McDonald from the Express News is going to join us. In the meantime, what a bummer last night for Texas A&M. I didn't watch the game. Last night was one of those weird nights for me. Conflicted. I'm a big hockey guy. You had a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I would imagine in San Antonio, Game 7, nothing else going on, you'd probably watch. But you also had Texas A&M playing for a national championship. A winner-take-all Game 3. Imagine if you were at home, you were watching the Aggies. Maybe you got 2 TVs set up. I was at Blink 182. James Pledger was at the Blink 182 concert. And it's so bizarre that I remember when the tour dates came out, and we kind of laughed, said, man, a Monday? Yeah, it's a Monday. But it's late June, ain't nothing going on. Why not? And then you end up with a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals and a deciding game with Texas A&M playing for a national championship. As a Longhorn fan, I was rooting hard for Texas A&M last night. I so wanted Texas A&M to beat that other TU Bad Orange creamsicle team. And I wanted my Aggie friends to have that excitement. I mean, my team isn't there. They weren't playing my team. I know a lot of you got mad at me yesterday for saying I was rooting for the Aggies. I got no problem with that. I was. And last night at Blink 182, had some friends that kept texting me, keeping me up to date. Disappointing. But I'm not sure what's more disappointing for Aggies. Because to add salt to the wound of losing in a national championship game, they might also lose their coach. Now, yesterday, on the day of the deciding game of the College World Series involving Texas A&M, the Texas Longhorns fire their and immediately rumors that A&M's Jim Schlossnagle is a candidate to become the new coach in Austin. Now, last night, after a heartbreaking loss, Jim was asked questions. And I can tell you, as a reporter that's been in the room, it sucks to ask these kind of questions. It's uncomfortable, but they have to be asked. It's part of the job. I know a lot of fans get mad. People get mad. Why do you ask them then? You know, the body's not even cold and you're already trying to figure out what's next, because you don't know when you're going to get a chance to see him again. And if there's stories out there, if there's rumors out there, he's there, you've got to ask the question. Timing sucks. But he was asked last night, Jim Schlossnagle was, after the game, heartbreaking loss, I get it, about the rumors about him taking the Texas Longhorns job.
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question. But I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
Okay. That was written. Today, Brent Zorneman from the Houston Chronicle says Schlossnagle has a decision to make between staying at A&M or heading to Texas. A decision likely by Tuesday night. Aggies brass trying to convince him to stay. Kendall Rogers, who Brent Zorneman retweeted, is the managing editor of @D1 Baseball, says this will be fascinating to watch play out. Horns would owe A&M around $3 million in buyout plus whatever Schloss's salary is going to be at Texas. Schloss camp has been adamant, no chance of movement unless the new ballpark project was botched. It was not. Situations can 100% change, however. It is going to be interesting to watch. If you're CDC, Chris Del Conte up there in Austin, you can't swing and miss, right? If you're going after the Aggies coach, you better land the Aggies coach. The money is not going to be an issue. I mean, paying almost $2 million for the last guy to go away. Boy, we all need to be coaches. Let me go be a crappy coach with a big buyout. I mean, honestly. But when you look at this Texas job and the standard at Texas, they didn't make the World Series 2 years in a row, and their coach got fired. I haven't won a national championship. 8 years that guy didn't get a national title. He's gone. It's interesting. And if you're an Aggie, man, I feel for you. Now, as the Longhorn of me, I'd love Schlossnagle. Yeah, come on. But at the same time, if you're an Aggie, well, you talk about salt in the wound. The pain of losing in a national championship game. And that's real. I get it. That's real. But in less than 24 hours, your coach might be going to the rival Texas Longhorns. And to me, this is on Jim. It sounded like last night he squashed it. He could have. I mean, this story is out there today because they're having conversations. Now, granted, his agent, that's his job. Every coach, their agent's job is to go find the best possible scenarios. And maybe you get a nice raise from Texas A&M. But if you're CDC, can you swing for the fences and miss here? Can you go after the coach at Texas A&M and get turned down publicly? I mean, you know, it's kind of like Hurley turning down the Lakers after that courtship. I mean, that was a big miss. A big miss. But no, you know what? They get their guy in J.J. Redick, who they wanted all along. You know how that goes. I mean, J.J. Redick, his experience as a coach. Nope. I don't know. And I think I love JJ Redick. The podcast, all of that, his basketball mind, watching him on television, listening to him broadcast games. Is he going to be a good coach? I don't know. I mean, he thinks he can. He doesn't care what I think and what you think. That's for sure.
What misconceptions or concerns about you that you've heard in the last few weeks are you the most looking forward to dispelling?
I don't really have a great answer for your question because I really don't give a honestly. I want to coach the Lakers. I want to coach the team. I don't want to dispel anything. I don't. I want to become a great coach in the NBA, and I want to win championships, and I want my players to maximize their careers. That's all I care about.
You got 2 F-bombs. First press conference as a coach. I don't know. It's interesting when you think about the idea of JJ Redick with no experience, did the podcast with LeBron and everything that comes with that. Him getting into the coaching cycle. I was reading that it actually might cost him money to take the coaching job from what he was making from ESPN and ABC. And because of his ownership stake in the couple of big podcasts that he does, see, very few people make big money in podcasting, but those that do make big money, you look at the Levitards and the McAfees, and, JJ's right up there with some of the podcasting that he's doing. The idea that he actually might be losing money by becoming a coach, which I think a lot of people thought he was just doing a money grab and trying to get like a Monty Williams deal. Like, you're going to give me $80 million not to work? Cool. Where do I sign up? Right? That apparently isn't the case. But JJ Redick also isn't going to coach and podcast at the same time.
For the time being, and hopefully it's a very, very long time, I am excommunicated from the content space. So there would be no podcast. We'll do something when I have a breather from what we have coming up. I'm going to be drinking out of a fire hose for the next month. But at some point, we'll just do something for all the people that listened, and we'll have a small little video. But I'm done with podcasting for now.
I think coach podcast would be a lot of fun. Actually, not really. Not really.
You think about the content that Micah gives us on a weekly basis with the Edge. Can you imagine JJ and LeBron doing a podcast after losses?
No. I mean, no. I wouldn't mind it, but no. It's not going to be there. That ain't going to happen. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you take better care of your yard than your health, you need to start taking care of yourself because, well, it's your health. As we age, things change, man. Maybe you're lacking energy, motivation. You've gained some weight. Those are all potential symptoms of low T. At Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss, their healthcare experts specialize in personalized testosterone treatment. Biggest thing you could do for your health is get your levels checked. Go to fixmylowt.com and set up your initial appointment. They have an on-site lab, so you're going to get your results back at your first visit. And if you need it, Synergenics, you're going to get customized care from medical providers who specialize in testosterone treatment. Your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. So if you're lacking energy, drive, it could all be caused by low T. And getting help is simple. If you're struggling with losing weight, you can also be evaluated for treatment with prescription weight loss medication. Book your appointment online at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, Jose, what's the first thing our listeners should do?
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google joegomezlaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really, anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
When something happens to your car, you might say, but what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And just like that, State Farm is there to help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
4th of July appliance savings are happening now at the Home Depot. Save up to $2,400 on select kitchen packages from brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. Get the LG French door refrigerator with craft ice to keep your summer cool. Or upgrade to the LG Smart Top Load Washer with AI that selects optimal wash motions and settings. Get up to $2,400 off select kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid June 19th through July 10th, U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com. Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
Tonight, we usher in the next wave of NBA players.
The 2024 NBA Draft on ESPN Radio.
NBA teams tell me that Heat breaks their analytics model.
For the first time, the NBA Draft will expand to a two-night event.
3 teams have expressed varying degrees of interest in Bronny James.
The 2024 NBA Draft.
Let's get the night started.
NBA coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1250 and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I just hear the promo. We're not carrying night 2 of the NBA draft, just night 1.
Just night 1.
Huh. We don't want to carry night 2?
What if Bronny ends up in San Antonio?
Stop.
No, we're carrying live horse racing. Remember?
On Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Until 7.
Well, the draft starts at 6.
All right. Thursday is going to be an interesting show. Blitz is going to be live out at Retama Park. Opening weekend of live racing. Opening night of live racing is Thursday. There will be live racing while we were there. In fact, while we are there, we're going to go long. We're going until 7 o'clock tonight. When I say we, Ryan goes on vacation. AJ Hoffman wants to get out of his apartment and go meet people. So AJ is going to come hang out with me at Retama Park on the Blitz. So if you haven't met come out and meet them at Retama Park. And they're going to allow us to do play-by-play of horse racing on the radio. I've done a lot of play-by-play. I've never done horse racing. I just hope that we get some really good names for the horses. You know, Hawktua Girl hasn't been around long enough for a horse to be named Hawktua yet, but that's coming soon to a Kentucky Derby. In about 3 years, we'll have a Hawktua with a chance at a Triple Crown. But too soon for that. I just hope we get some good horse names on Thursday night that we get to broadcast.
What is it? I guess 3-year-olds are the ones that run the Kentucky Derby. So maybe those year one horses, maybe this time next year, some live racing, you'll see a Hawktua out there.
Well, you will. But I'm thinking when I get to the Kentucky Derby for a Triple Crown. But yeah, horses born in the last week, they're named Hawktua, right? I mean, people out there have a sense of humor. Somebody's going to name their horse that, and
better be a damn good horse. I want Hawktua winning the Triple Crown.
Yes. You want a Hawktua Triple Crown? Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. And of course, it's going to be damn good. So many things I could say right now.
I know.
I'm trying to debate, can I or can I? If I'm thinking, should I? The answer is no.
I'm putting them all up on that tee for you.
No. 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 Nope. 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 No. Nope. But yeah, lots that you could go with there. It can't be a bad horse.
No.
No. That woman is everywhere. The amount of videos that I have seen, even Matt Pittman from Meat Church has a cooking video where they edit it where she's in the beginning and then he's got a Topo Chico splashing out. It's amazing. Everybody and all the different videos and all the different people that claim that she's from their little hometown and is a preacher's daughter. None of that apparently is true. Like, I don't know. We haven't really identified her. This isn't like the Edmonton boob girl, right? Who's decided to cash in on her 15 minutes with Barstool and some other things. We haven't truly identified the Hawktua girl from Nashville, because that video was taken in Nashville, right?
Yeah, she was on the street and doing a bar crawl up in Nashville. So
yep.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I mean, even last night at the Blink 182 concert, the amount of Hawktua references that were all over there. I mean, it truly is incredible how viral that has become. Although I don't know that we've truly identified her. Right?
I think her name's Haley something.
You think?
The internet did a deep dive because the internet is undefeated in these things.
Well, that's it though. But the reality is, I've seen a lot of people identified as her that aren't really her, and different names and stories. Like somehow she's managed to not be all over the place and truly identified. I mean, it took a couple of days to identify the boob girl in Edmonton, and now she's doing a thing with Playboy. But Hawktua girl, where I mean, we really don't know. You're the producer. I'm surprised you haven't tried to get her on the show yet.
I mean, I'm trying.
You're just trying to get her number.
Down.
You're just trying to get her number.
Well,
I mean, the whole new meaning, the extra innings with Pledge.
It's all for the better of the show.
Is it? I'm surprised you haven't edited that into your open yet. Some of the comments in the YouTube chat. You go read them for yourself. subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Jeff McDonald of the Express News is going to join us here in a couple of minutes, talk about the Spurs ahead of the NBA draft, which is just over 24 hours from right now. Yesterday on the show, talking to Daryl Johnston, the Moose, 3-time Super Bowl champ, about the Cowboys' inactivity this offseason. And one of the things is, we're a little more than a month away from training camp. We might be right at a month for Cowboys training camp, right? They start
July 17th or 24th.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a month.
Yeah. So, but I mean, nothing really happens until that initial weekend, which is when we go out there. We'll be live for our AA Best Bail Bonds Cowboys training camp coverage. Was that July 29th, I think, through August, 3rd. And I do think at some point we're going to see a contract for Dak Prescott. But I think about something that Moose talked about yesterday. And this is a guy that's a front office type now with the UFL and with everything that he does at Fox, constantly talking to general managers and coaches and obviously players. How do the Cowboys get deals done for Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons?
And if you do look at the positions that everybody talks about, it's quarterback, edge rusher, left tackle, corner, wide receiver. If those really are the 5 positions and we're trying to make sure that we have the best players there, you look at Dallas and they've got a quarterback, a wide receiver, and an edge rusher, stacked linebacker combination. Mike is very, very unique in how he plays it. You've got 3 of those 5 positions kind of already garnered on your team, but now you've got to figure out a way to get them all 3 signed. And because there wasn't an opportunity, just think if you would have signed Dak, early in that process to an 8-year contract, knowing that Will McClay is going to go out, he's going to bring in good players, and you're going to have to be able to find a way to sign those guys. I don't know how Dallas is going to be able to sign Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons.
Cowboys have a problem, and they've got to figure it out. Now, I think it's laughable, and I respect Daryl Johnston a lot. It's laughable to suggest Dak signing an 8-year contract. I'm sure Jerry Jones would love to sign Dak to an 8-year contract, or maybe not today, but a couple years ago, because Jerry likes long contracts that he could spread out all the bonuses and that sort of stuff. Dak Prescott has shown he wants short contracts so he can get back to the negotiating table. So it is, to me, comical that Moose would suggest an 8-year contract. Why not sign him to an 8-year deal? Because Dak won't sign an 8-year deal. He won't. He hasn't. He might today because it'd be his last one. But even this one, I think he's still going to be looking at 4 years and, get back to the table. That's why it's so important for these teams to try to win when your quarterback's on a rookie contract. I look at what Nick Caserio is doing down with the Houston Texans. After what C.J. Stroud did his rookie year, for them to go all in, Jerry, with the moves that they have made this offseason with, bringing in Diggs and some of the other players that they brought in that should have immediate impact. I mean, you look at some of the Hunter and Mixon and, we got to try to win. I mean, Houston's trying to win because with CJ on his rookie deal, because you look at the quarterbacks getting paid right now, 55. And if Dak gets close to 60, when CJ's time is up, when it's time for him to get paid, what's that number going to be? I mean, that's the crazy thing is, the salary cap isn't going up at the same rate as quarterback salaries are going. And I've said for years, and there was a story last week that apparently the owners are talking about it. Do you come up with a way to count the salary differently for quarterbacks against the cap? I remember years ago saying, when Tony Romo was getting big contracts and eating up such a big percentage of the cap, maybe no matter what the salary is, your quarterback only counts 8%, 14% against the cap, something like that. You can't have 3 or 4 players using up half of your cap and still field a team. way. Eight years. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. And not because of Jerry, because of Dak. Dak would not sign an 8-year deal. You can give Patrick Mahomes a lot of credit for signing a 10-year deal. But most players aren't going to do that. CD, how long is the contract if he gets signed that he will sign for? His agent seems to like 3-year deals because they all want to be always at the top of the food chain. But how do you look at CD and say $35 million? Sure. Jefferson got that. Sure. I just don't see that happening. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio sports star Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News joins us next as we are a little more than 24 hours away from the NBA draft. Astros play tonight. Rangers play tonight. Over 1 million fans are making money, making picks on Underdog Fantasy. Joining on the fun now that basketball and hockey are over, you got Major League Baseball in the MLB Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. Pick between 2 and 8 players. Select higher or lower on stats like strikeouts, hits. And if your picks are correct, you can win up to 325 times your money in a single night. Underdog is super easy to play and easy to get started. So it's the best way to play fantasy sports online. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their app. Sign up, use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, go to Underdog Fantasy and get signed up. Use my promo code STAR.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, it is draft day. Do you want a big? Do you want a small? There's so many options.
I want all of it, Rob. Who are the Spurs going to take? Who's everyone going to take? We'll hit some odds. We'll hit some discussions. We'll see who fits where. It's the Morning Huddle. Starts at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Road.
Can't escape the office this summer? Make your workdays tastier with delicious savings from EasyCater, the #1 site for workplace catering. With over 100,000 restaurants to choose from, save up to $40 when you order from participating restaurants. These scrumptious discounts are available exclusively on EasyCater.com. So order some food for work and save some green with delicious summer savings. Order now at EasyCater.com. Order must be July 5th. Restrictions apply. See offer details.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-513-8480. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-513-8480 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
I'm AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6. What's the latest with the Cowboys? And are they even ready for the season? It's all right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Schlossnagle on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. The NBA Draft, finally, tomorrow night. Round 1. You can listen to all the draft coverage here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And as we get ready for the draft, let's talk about it with Jeff McDonald from the San Antonio Express News, who joins us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. You know, Jeff, I've been saying for, weeks, I'm so ready for the draft because at least tomorrow night we'll have an idea of the direction the organization is going as far as how fast they plan on being a playoff contender again. If they take 2 players, it's probably going to be a long season. If they trade, well, we might get back to the playoffs a little bit sooner. What are you hearing about the direction?
Well, first of all, I think we've been talking about the draft for so long. I'm ready for it to be over.
Well, there's that.
I'm ready to stop talking about all the things they might do. And, as you said, by this time tomorrow, well, not this time tomorrow, but by tomorrow night, we'll have be able to talk about stuff that actually happened and analyze that. But I think the interesting thing about this draft is there's really no limit to what they might do. I mean, the only thing I can tell you for sure right now is by the end of the draft tomorrow, Victor Wembanyama was to be on the team. Other than that, it could be almost anything else could happen. They could take both the picks. They could move up. They could move back. They could trade a pick for they could trade the picks for as you were sort of alluding to, maybe a more established star or a veteran. So I think a lot is on the table. I do think if you had to pick one, if you had to bet your money on one outcome, like one general outcome, what are they going to do? I think the odds are still in the favor if they pick at 4 and they pick at 8. But I don't think that outcome is so far removed from all the other outcomes. Where in the past that might have been like an 80% outcome, maybe it's a 60% or 55% outcome. There's a lot of different ways they can go, and there's not a whole lot that will happen on Saturday that would completely shock me.
Very true. Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News. Because there are so many options for the Spurs, and because they are so forthcoming with what their plans are, the intrigue in trying to find out and chase down all the different rumors that aren't coming from the Spurs building in the various mock drafts, which is all speculation. If you were to guess right now, at number 4 and at number 8, if they were to draft at those 2 spots, who do you expect to be getting a new hat tomorrow night with the Spur logo on it?
So much depends on who's taken. I mean, obviously, this, who's taken 1, 2, or 3, and who's taken, 5, 6, 7, who's on the board at those picks. But I think if Risa Shea or Stephon Castle is on the board at 4, I think you might see the Spurs take one of those guys. Probably both of them are not available, so maybe the one that is available. And then 8, especially if you've not taken a point guard at 4, if maybe you get Risa Shea at 4, and that's a guy that the Spurs really like. At 8, there's a point guard from Providence named Devin Carter that seems to be a kind of guy that will fill a lot of needs for you. They're high on Stephen Castle too, but if he's not there at 8, Devin Carter's a guy that does a lot of things that Stephen Castle does, and he probably will be there at 8. He's a little bit older, and I don't think that's such a detriment in this draft. Like, you can't take 19-year-olds forever. Every so often, taking a 22-year-old So at college, he's going to be a guy that's going to come in and be a little bit more ready to play in the NBA than a teenager. And I think it doesn't make – he was also the star of the combine, by the way, fastest guy and highest vertical leap. So that's another thing that is in Devin Carter's favor. And, you know, I think if he's a guy that has he's not going to bust out. You're good. A lot of first round picks, you're taking a gamble. There's a lot of busts in the first round. A lot of guys that just don't amount to much of anything in the NBA. I think in Carter, maybe you're not, and then again, I'm talking at 8, not 4. At Carter, maybe you're not getting a guy that has all-star upside, but you're getting a guy that can play for you for a long time. And I think when you have 2 picks in the first round, there's something to be said for taking a little bit of gamble on one and taking a guy that you know is going to be solid. So I think that's a guy I would look at 8 is Devin Carter of Providence.
Big East Player of the Year. And you've got an article at the Express News website, expressnews.com right now with 10 names that to watch for tomorrow's draft, because when you look at all the different mocks, it's crazy how they are all over the place. There's not a consensus number 1 pick. There's not a consensus top 5 in this draft. And so it really is all spaghetti on the wall. Although I do think I like Castle, but if you want him and he's available at 4, you got to get him. I don't think he'd be available at 8.
No, he would not. I don't think Castle's lasting till 8. And this draft, like you mentioned, is a little weird. I mean, it's light at the top. It's one of those years where nobody, you know, most years, you know, one of these 1, 2, or 3 guys is going to go first. A lot of years, you know, this is the first round pick. You know, this is the Victor Wembanyama draft. Other years, maybe it comes down to 1 or 2 guys, or 1 or 2 or 3 guys. This is one where it could be one of a number of guys that goes first overall. It reminds a lot of people of the 2013 draft, where we didn't really know until the Cleveland Cavaliers made their pick, which was Anthony Bennett, who that was going to be. I think whoever's drafted first this year will probably have a better career than Anthony Bennett, but it's all a crapshoot. But the other thing that we know, I can predict for you right now, is there will be an all-star drafted, a future all-star drafted tomorrow, because there's not been an NBA draft that did not include somebody that ended up making the all-star team. You just don't know where that guy's going to come from. And if you go back to that 2013 draft, you got to get all the way to number 15 before you find your all-star, but it's a doozy. It's Giannis. So I think the goal tomorrow is to be the team that finds that guy. If it's at 1, if it's at 4, if it's at 8, that's a benefit for the Spurs to have 2 shots at it up there. You're taking 2 throws of the dart, and maybe you end up with the guy that ends up with the all-star career. I think that would be sort of the dream scenario. I don't think it's, you know, the likely scenario for any team. I mean, but to nail the guy that's going to be a star of this group and have that guy be the number 2 to Victor Wembanyama, I think is probably the A++ goal of tomorrow. Coming away with just 2 guys that can fill needs, fill holes on what will be your, you know, 8 to 9 man rotation on the team that's going to be the next playoff team, whether it's this year or 2 years or 3 years down the road. I think that would be a good thing. Like if you think about it, you need like 8 players in a rotation. The Spurs maybe have their number 1. They maybe have their 3, depending on what you think of Devin Vassell. They probably have a 5 or 6, but filling in that, you know, 4 hole or that 6 hole or that 7 hole would not be a bad thing. If you can get 2 guys that can do that out of this draft, I think you can look at it as a success.
Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News joining us here on the Blitz as we're a little more than 24 hours away from the draft. I guess Mike Finger got the lucky straw and he got to go to New York. He tweeted earlier that Kentucky guard Rob Dillingham said he visited with a bunch of NBA teams, but only one conversation with one NBA coach, and that happened to be Greg Popovich. Do you read anything into that Pop actually had a conversation with Dillingham?
What I read into it is that Pop is very engaged in this process. I'm sure Dillingham's not the only prospect Pop has talked to during this time, and it's kind of I'm not going to try to paint the picture that he was removed from the draft process in years past. That's not accurate, but this kind of level of hands-on, he's usually let the front office guys, you know, first RC, then Brian, be, and all the guys that have been scouting the college game all year. Pop will tell you, I don't watch much college basketball during the NBA season. There's a lot more going on in my world. I kind of just trust, you know, those guys. But when it gets to the end of the line, that's when Pop swoops in and kind of and has his conversation. So to hear that he's kind of exercising that level of engagement at this point of the process, that's really what it tells me, that he's not, for all the people, I mean, I think we all know Pop is coming back next year, but for all the people that think he's winding down, think he doesn't care anymore, he's just cashing the paycheck, to see him sort of really involved in the interview process is, that tells a different story.
Yeah, it really does. And you think about the Spurs need a guard and they need another front court guy for Wemby, right? I think we know what the needs are with this draft and picking at 4 and 8. If they stay at 4 and 8, do you think they go best player, or are they going more need, or at one point fill a need, the other one, hell, if he's available, let's take him?
Man, I think it's a balance of both. And I think the thing with this draft is, like, with everybody you could take it for, or really anybody you could take anywhere, even number one, there's a con with, there's a lot of pros for each player, but there's a con with every prospect. Like, there's a reason to talk yourself out of this prospect or that prospect. You can worry about Castle's shot, or you can worry about Dillingham's size, or you could worry about, Reed Shepherd, can he play defense? Nikola Topic has injury concerns, I mean, and on. You can pick up something for everybody. So I think when it's this kind of draft, I think you got to have done your research, you have your board, and I still think you're taking, I still think you're taking the best player available. I think you can use fit as sort of a tiebreaker if you have two guys that are sort of the same to you. But I still think taking the best player available, because this is still this team went 22 and 60 last year again. Like, there's still a lot of holes. You're going to find a fit for somebody. The other need I would say the Spurs need is shooting. Like, they don't have any perimeter shooting, and that's sort of a problem in the modern NBA.
You think?
They set the team record, the franchise record, for the most 3-pointers in a season last year, but they had the third worst percentage in the league. And their best 3-point shooter was Doug McDermott. They traded him in February. Their best 3-point shooter after that was Chetty Osman. He's a free agent and may not be back. So I think if you can get someone out of this draft that you don't have to shoot, the Spurs and a lot of teams have been doing that lately. This guy's got all kinds of skills, everything we want, just can't put the ball in the basket. But we can get him in the lab and teach him that, and it works for some guys, like Kawhi. Doesn't work for other guys. I think if one of those two picks can be a guy that can already do that, like a Reed Shepherd, which you're probably going to have to trade up for, or a Dalton Connect from Tennessee, I think there's an argument to be made there too. If you're talking about fit, saying like, hey, look, man, we're at 8. Let's pick a guy that can shoot. And so I think that's another thing to look for. Point guards and guys that can actually make a 3-pointer would be great, because a Wemby team is going to generate so many open threes. Yep. Like, so many. It's going to be just a buffet of threes. But if you have a bunch of guys that shoot 33% surrounding him, you're not really maximizing that. So finding a guy that can just knock down an open three, and if that's really all he can do at this point of his career, I think you're going to still get a lot of value out of that guy.
Jeff McDonald of the Express News here on At the Blitz. Last week I was on vacation, and nice to be disconnected some, but I saw an article. I didn't even really read the whole thing because it was on Twitter, and it started off like Wemby's camp is demanding the Spurs do, and I thought Wemby's camp isn't demanding the Spurs do anything. But I do think there's got to be some conversations between the organization and Wemby and Wemby's camp. I'm sure you saw that story. Did you chuckle at that? What is the relationship between Wemby's wants and wishes and how quickly this is going to be a winning franchise versus where the front office is at?
There's so many gray areas there. I mean, first of all, it is absolutely true that Victor Wembanyama is the most powerful voice in this organization. The second the Spurs won the draft lottery last year, that became the case. He's more powerful. His voice carries more weight than Greg Popovich, than R.C. Buford, than anybody in the building. So if he wanted to start demanding things, they would have to listen. I don't know that we're at that point yet. I don't know that we'll ever get to that point, because he's been very patient, very understanding so far. He's surrounded, as far as I can tell, by some level-headed people who understand how this works. You're not supposed to win year or even your second year. That's not how this typically works. We're not looking to win 50. We're not looking to just win 50 games your second year and build a team that can just get to that plateau, but then we're capped out and we can't do anything else to help you for the rest of your career with the Spurs. Like, he understands that it can be a slow build at times. So I think whenever you see like Wemby wants to win now, I think that's true. Of course he wants to win now. Everyone does. Everyone in the building does. But I think he's also understanding at this point of and trusting of what the Spurs are telling him. I mean, I think if like what I said before, if we're talking about the Spurs trying to trade for Trae Young or potentially trying to trade for Trae Young, the way you know that the Spurs, that Victor Wembanyama is demanding that the Spurs trade for Trae Young is that they will immediately trade for Trae Young. Like it won't even be a question. Now they could, you know, again, I'm speaking in hypotheticals here,
sure.
But again, I think the front office could right now is able to tell Victor, like, we could give up all this capital for a Trae Young, but we don't know that he's the right fit. And then we've lost that capital and we can't get it back. And then we can't help you again next offseason, the offseason after. And I think Victor's understanding of the Spurs, he's understanding and trusting of the Spurs and Pop at this point in how they want to build the team. I don't think there's any, you know, pressure after year one from Victor Wembanyama saying, you know, improve this roster drastically now or I'm leaving. Like, none of that is happening. And the flip side of that is, of course, they can't go 22-60 again. Of course, there has to be obvious signs of improvement, that the path is go forward this season and next season, even the season beyond. There has to be signs of that, obviously, or you know, Victor or anybody else would get sort of fed up. But for now, I don't think there's any proof at all that he's demanding anything of the Spurs in the front office. I think there's definitely some communication there, because there has to be, because he's their franchise player. I think the same kind of communication happened when Tim Duncan was here. And like Duncan, at this point, I don't think Victor is really wanting to steer the ship. He's just trusting of the front office and the direction they're going.
In all indications I've seen, there is a trust between Wemby, his camp, and the front office. All the interviews say that. And yeah, he wants to win. I want to, as a Spurs fan, Jeff, I would like to see the Spurs maybe trade 4 and 8 or one of those, and maybe a Keldon and whoever else is needed to get an all-star caliber player. Doesn't necessarily have to be an all-star, a right fit guy, and be a legit playoff contending team next season. They do have the 2 picks, 4 and 8. I want them to be a little bit faster in the rebuild process. Do you anticipate some trades tomorrow night from the Spurs?
The thing is, I never anticipate trades from the Spurs. Like, just in a vacuum, if anyone's asking if a trade's going to happen, I just know how hard it is to make a trade happen. Just, you got to get everybody on board. You got to make the money work. You got to have the assets. I mean, the Spurs have a better chance of making a trade than like the Lakers or something. Like, they have more assets and stuff like that. All their draft picks, all that just war chest of draft picks they got coming up. So I think the chances are higher of the Spurs making a trade than somebody else making a trade. But whenever I'm asked, like, what's the likelihood of any team executing a trade at a specific time, I usually guess conservatively and err on the side. It's just too hard to make a trade, and they don't happen all that often. But it wouldn't. Again, it's probably a higher probability this season than last season, or this season than 3 seasons ago. Maybe a higher probability on draft night than any season in recent memory. I mean, I don't think going into that 2011 draft, we saw the Spurs trading up for Kawhi. That draft, I remember going into that draft, a lot of the buzz was around trading Tony Parker, if you could believe it, but nobody saw George Hill for the pick that would become Kawhi Leonard. So sometimes these things materialize out of thin air.
Yeah, Pop's favorite player. Nobody saw that one coming. Nobody. I mean, so yeah, and I think what's interesting is the anticipation for tomorrow night, because we have no real idea of what the Spurs are planning, what they're thinking. And 2 picks, all the draft capital, they've got so many options. It just almost feels like they can't screw this up.
Yeah. only way there's other ways, but the main way for a fan to be disappointed tomorrow is to go in with one outcome in mind, like this is the outcome I want to happen, and just to be devastated when that outcome doesn't happen. I feel like you said there's a lot of ways they could go, a lot of alternatives, some of them riskier than others, some of them bigger plays than others, but except on the extreme ends of those alternatives, there's not there's not a big way of screwing up tomorrow.
Well,
now they might make the 4 and 8 pick, and you look back in 5 years, and there are two guys that just didn't amount to anything, and then they screwed it up. But coming out of the draft tomorrow, I think everyone should be excited.
Well, and the other part of that too, Jeff, is I look at, 5-6 players. I'd be happy because I don't love any of them, but I don't hate any of them, right? There's not like, oh, I've got to get this guy. This guy would be perfect. The options are there. I might not necessarily agree with the name if the position is right. I'm going to trust the Spurs in their front office with what they end up doing. It's a very interesting time for Spurs fans because, quite frankly, it's been a long time, if ever, that the Spurs have been in a position like this.
Yeah, they've never had 2 top 10 picks before. If you want to just do it for like a sobering exercise, just go pick some drafts from last 5 years, last 7 years, last 8. Pick a bunch of them and look at the top 10 and see what those guys are doing now. And most of every year's top 10 is probably not in the league anymore. Like it's still at that level is kind of a gamble, and you're doing well to get like 2 good players that are contributing for you and still on your team like 4 to 5 years from now. So I think people hear top 10 pick and then they think, oh, that's 2 all-stars. We're going to get 2 all-stars to go with Indy. And if they do, that would be awesome. It would be one of the best drafts in NBA history for a team because most of the highest percentage of those top 10 picks end up fading out. You go look at any draft and there's guys in the 20s that you're like, if we did that over, they'd be 7, 8, whatever. And then there's guys in the top 10 that probably wouldn't even be drafted if it was redone. So it's just
crazy.
If you want to set some expectations for yourself going into tomorrow's draft, just go look at some of the old drafts and see what people did at 4 and 8, and that'll kind of set your expectations a little bit.
You get the homework assignment from the great Jeff McDonald. Go prepare yourself for tomorrow because it's going to be fun, but we won't really know for a while, which is the beauty of it. Jeff, always appreciate the knowledge and the insight, my friend.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Follow Jeff on Twitter at JMcDonald_SAEN, Jeff McDonald, on the Buyers Barricades guest line where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. It is hot outside, pushing 100. If you get home tonight and your AC is crapped out while you were at work, call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899, 651-5899. It's that time of year where if your AC is out, you've got to get it fixed ASAP, and Quarter Moon will do that for you. If you're having plumbing issues, Quarter Moon will get you taken care of. Residential, commercial, big job, small job. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Riding 1604 with the Blitz.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments Also written a specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA. And go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Mark your calendars. Live horse racing is back in season at Retama Park. Gates open at 5:30 Thursday. Get your tickets online at retamapark.com. Retama Park, where the excitement begins. See you at the races.
When something happens to your car, you might say, but what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And just like that, State Farm is there to help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
4th of July appliance savings are happening now at the Home Depot. Save up to $2,400 on select kitchen packages from brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances. Get the LG French door refrigerator with craft ice to keep your summer cool. Or upgrade to the LG Smart Top Load washer with AI that selects optimal wash motions and settings. Get up to $2,400 off select kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid June 19th through July 10th, U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
Come to Generations Federal Credit Union for a great competitive rate on a home equity loan. Consolidate debt, pay off credit cards, renovate your home, and more. With flexible terms, fixed rates, and minimal closing costs. All with easy applications and fast local decisions. Apply today at Generations Federal Credit Union.
Rates and terms subject to approval and may change without notice. Full terms and conditions at mygenfcu.org/homeequity. Equal housing lender.
Tonight, we usher in the next wave of NBA players.
The 2024 NBA Draft on ESPN Radio.
NBA teams tell me that Heat breaks their analytics model.
For the first time, the NBA Draft will expand to a two-night event.
3 teams have expressed varying degrees of interest in Bronny James.
The 2024 NBA Draft.
Let's get the night started.
NBA coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1250 and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Texas A&M Aggies came up short in Omaha. They lost to Tennessee 6-5 last night in the winner-take-all Game 3 of the College World Series. To add salt to the wound, Jim Schlossnagle is leaving Texas A&M to become the next baseball coach at Texas. Chip Brown from Horns 24/7 says that deal is done.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. A little breaking news. Well, we just kind of talked about it. Chip Brown at Horns 24/7 says, according to his sources, and Chip Brown's is about as plugged in as they go, Schlossnagle is leaving A&M to be the next baseball coach at Texas. So you think about that heartbreaking loss last night. Today, Schlossnagle's gone. Now, it's interesting is you kind of, let's go back. The Texas A&M rivalry, this is one of those chapters, right? That you think about, now granted, it's baseball, but with football coming back, with Texas going into the SEC, Schlossnagle had a $1.35 million buyout in his contract that doubles to $2.7 million if he were to take another job in the state of Texas. According to Chip Brown, he made the decision Tuesday afternoon. Sources told Horns 24/7. Apparently, and I didn't know this, Schlossnagle's comfort level in history with Chris Del Conte was the deciding factor. Apparently, they're besties. Now, the besties part actually comes from Kendall in baseball. He had tweeted out that they've been best friends. If this, in fact, does get to the finish line, this was an hour ago, a ton of credit goes to Chris Del Conte, Schlossnagle's best friend. Would be a heck of a coup. It's interesting. Now, yesterday, let's go back and see how this all kind of happens. So yesterday, Texas A&M's getting ready to play for the national championship, a winner-take-all game 3. And Chris Del Conte fires the baseball coach at Texas. Pierce, gone. They had a meeting and mutually agreed to part ways. On the same day that A&M is playing for a national title, Texas fires their baseball coach. And immediately, Schlossnagle's name is mentioned. And that sucks. But that's part of the coaching world. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, how many times have we gone through that with Jeff Traylor at UTSA? There's openings, and immediately you start speculating who's going to be in the running for those kind of jobs. Last night after the game, and again, heartbreaking loss, crushing loss. You just lost a national championship. All day, your name has been associated with an opening in Austin. A reporter has to ask that question. I know it sucks. And it sucks to be the guy asking that question, but it absolutely had to get asked last night because of the rumors and the reports all day. And of course, last night, Schlossnagle didn't appreciate getting the question. And his answer?
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question. But I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. Let's write that.
Okay. And you know what's being written today? Schlossnagle leaves Texas A&M to go to Austin, taking over Texas. I feel bad for you Aggie fans. I really do. As a Longhorn fan, I feel awful. Yesterday, I was rooting for the Aggies. I wanted A&M to win that national championship. Said on the show yesterday, I got a lot of friends that are Aggies. I wanted them to have that joy. Longhorns aren't in the College World Series. They're not playing. I'll root for Texas A&M. No problem with that. But, man, what a salt in the wound, kick in the nuts, all of it. I don't know what hurts more, losing the national championship or 24 hours later, your coach is off to UT. I mean, of all the jobs for him to take, and I'm a little surprised, and I guess you can't really do it. You can double the buyout if you coach again in Texas, but can you say you can't go to that school? Can you put that in the contract? You can leave us for a lot of people, but not them. I wonder if that could go into a contract. I don't know if it can, but you think about 18 seasons at TCU, 8 of them with Chris Del Conte as his boss. So yeah, they have that history. It also makes me wonder, and boy, it feels kind of chicken bleep to even say this, but I wonder if CDC had this kind of worked out with Jim before they fired their coach, before they mutually agreed to part ways. You think about David Pierce. He's been the baseball coach since 2017. 2 years of not going to the College World Series, and on the day Texas A&M is playing for the national championship, you fire him, and the next day you're going to hire the Aggies coach, win or lose the national championship. Looking at and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to paraphrase, that BZ had tweeted out that Aggies brass trying to convince Jim to stay. How much did CDC money whip Jim to where the Aggies couldn't match? Or is this just I'm going to go work for my buddy? I'm going to Austin. It is interesting. And again, last night he gave the answer he had to give last night. It's the only answer that he could have given last night. And it sucks with the sting of losing that game. But you have to add 100% that reporter or a reporter in that press conference had to ask that question of Schlossnagle. The rumors were out there. They were legit. He's available doing media. You've got to ask that question. And 100% Jim had to answer the question the way he did. Coaches all lie until the contract is signed. There was no way he was going to say anything different last night. But man, that's got to burn. That's got to burn for Aggie fans. And that just and now the Longhorn fan of me, I'm excited because Schlossnagle's a hell of a coach, and it's been 8 years. 2 years of not going to the College World Series for Texas. Major. It'll be interesting to see what the contract terms look like. And again, this is Chip Brown from Horns 24/7. His source is saying the deal is done. Other people are saying that it's not confirmed yet. Although Chip has broken a lot of stories over his time. Kendall Rogers just tweeted, everything I'm hearing right now points to Schlossnagle being on the move to Texas. Have not confirmed, but I would believe this, as he quote tweeted the Chip Brown tweet.
It's a tremendous punch in the gut.
It really is. It really is. Man, what a rough 24 hours for Texas A&M fans. I mean, to be this close to winning a national championship. And you had a whole bunch of non-Aggies rooting for you. And then you get home and the dude leaves for UT.
This deal came together quite quickly.
It did. Baseball money isn't football money, right? Because what are they paying? Almost $2 million, 1.68 for Pierce not to work there. It looks like they're going to have to pay the buyout, send $2.7 million over to Texas A&M for the buyout, and then whatever his contract is going to be, his salary. And if the Aggies truly had a chance to match, which is what Brent Zorneman had tweeted earlier, or make him an offer, give him whatever to get him to stay. Sounds to me like you just wanted to go work with his buddy again. Because they were doing everything. I mean, they were building a program. That could have been a program. Now UT's already got that, but at the same time, that's a surprising move on all fronts. And again, I said it earlier in the show when it was rumors. Chris Del Conte cannot swing for the fences and come up empty. He cannot. You cannot try to go steal the Aggies coach and have it out there, and it's rumored and it's out there, and for it not to happen. That would be a bigger black eye for UT than the Lakers and their open courtship of Hurley for him to stay at UConn, and then you go hire JJ Redick, the podcast star. That would have been worse for Chris Del Conte. He had to get this deal done. He had to close it, and it looks like he did.
This is great for the University of Texas program. I feel for my Aggie friends.
Me too.
I feel awful for them.
Do you?
I do.
I hear sarcasm in your voice.
No, I do feel awful for them. But if you could have handpicked a guy, probably the guy you would have been looking at.
Well, I mean, that's it. And I guess, the past relationship certainly comes into favor. I just wonder if this deal was actually done before today. I mean, it comes together quick. And again, if you're firing somebody, you're going to replace him with somebody that's better. And every athletic director has a short list of coaches somewhere on their desk, in their files, whatever. If something were to happen, here's my top candidates, right? And for Chris Del Conte, I'm going to fire you, Pierce. Who am I going to go get that's better? Well, he's up the road in College Station. And again, the middle finger, like we could have waited till Wednesday to fire our coach, let the Aggies have their day in the national spotlight. They're playing for a championship. No, we're going to fire. It's like out of the Jerry Jones playbook. You know what? Here we go. We're going to fire them on Monday, and we're going to steal their coach on Tuesday.
And it's the way that it came together too. I mean, the timing. The Longhorn season's been over for a hot minute. It's not like they got ejected a week or so ago. They've been done for a few weeks.
Yeah.
This took some time to come to the decision to fire him, and you're wondering if they were trying to get all their ducks in a row before they made that move.
Oh, I mean, clearly. Clearly. Yeah, Texas. I mean, I just get the feeling this was done over the weekend, a couple days ago. I don't know. It just seems like it came together. The timing of it doesn't smell right. The timing of it does not smell right. It's, might have been, the end of the season. All right, Longhorns are done. All right, we're going to mutually agree to part ways. All right, well, I can't hire my guy. He's still playing. Oh man, they're still playing. Hey, they're still winning games. They're all right. Now we're at game 3. All right, well, yeah, let's let the cat out of the bag. Man.
Although when they say arrogant Longhorn fan, that's why.
Well, I mean, Longhorns got what they want. Aggies, man. Rob taught me the term battered Aggie syndrome. What's the next level of that? Because that's what you're dealing with right now in baseball. I mean, for him to leave for any job would suck. But for him to leave for UT less than 24 hours after losing in a national championship game sucks.
It's a tremendous punch in the gut.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, here in San Antonio and South Texas, a water softener is really just par for the course. You have to have one. The water is so hard here, but you don't want to get just any water softener. You want to get the best. Connecticut Quality Water Systems is the best. In fact, Connecticut's been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. Their products are made right here in America, and they're up to 80% more efficient than competing models. Simple design, fewer moving parts, and really my favorite thing is you don't plug it in. Yeah, no electricity to use. There's no timers to set or reset, no adjustments to make, no buttons to push, and it certainly will not increase your electric bill. It only works when you need water, and it works every time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, the fine folks at Connecticut Quality Water Softeners are going to let you try their product in your home for 90 days, absolutely free, with no contract. It doesn't get any better than that. If you've been thinking about a Connecticut water system, you need to do it now. Take advantage of this offer. 90 days in your home, absolutely free with no contract. Give Connecticut a call, 656-PURE. That's 656-7873. Or you can get them at ConnecticutSA.com. You know the jingle. Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you're a fan collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you are a family member and needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Petty Country, a country music celebration of Tom Petty, bringing the top talent in country and Americana music together to create a 20-song tribute to Petty's dynamic musical legacy, including Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, Thomas Rhett, Dierks Bentley, George Strait, Carly Pearce, Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Lainey Wilson, Winona, and more.
With a southern accent.
Petty Country, out now, sponsored by Big Machine Records.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close, love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textblend.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or place stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text LONG to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best in the nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text LONG to 200-300. Text the word LONG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text LONG to 200-300.
Happy birthday, America!
Mr. W. Fireworks has been your family-owned and operated fireworks provider since 1963.
We are proud to guarantee the lowest prices on fireworks around. And the biggest selection, too.
That's right. Here at Mr. W. Fireworks, we have the lowest prices on fireworks in the area and with the biggest selection to choose from. At Mr. W. Fireworks, we have been doing this a long time.
We never charge any hidden fees, and we pass our savings down to the customer. Find our location near you at MrWFireworks.com.
Play ball! Missions fans, get ready to swing in action tonight at Wolf Stadium. It's AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch is 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
Tonight, we usher in the next wave of NBA players.
The 2024 NBA Draft on ESPN Radio.
NBA teams tell me that heat breaks their analytics models.
For the first time, the NBA Draft will expand to a 2-night event.
3 teams have expressed varying degrees of interest in Bronny James.
The 2024 NBA Draft.
Let's get the night started.
NBA coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1250 and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Tomorrow morning at 6, it's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Check them out on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Yeah, check them out tomorrow morning, 6 to 10 when you wake up when you're driving into work. Watch them on the YouTube channel, The Morning Huddle. Speaking of Rob and AJ Hoffman is going to join me on the Blitz on Thursday with Ryan Nagel on vacation. We're going to be live out at Retama Park as they kick off the live racing season out there. And so if you want to meet AJ, you want to meet the new guy in town, come on out to Retama Park on Thursday. We're actually going to do a long show on Thursday. We'll go till 7 o'clock. Of course, the reaction on what the Spurs do Wednesday night in the draft, but also we're going to do a little play-by-play of some horse racing. I don't know whose idea this was. I was on vacation. I was just told, hey, here's what you guys are going to do. Work overtime, and you're gonna do something you've never done before and do play-by-play of racing. Cool. Sounds like a good idea.
Always seems to happen when you're out of town.
What's that?
All these things that come together, like extra hour broadcast
told that I'm working an extra hour? Yeah. It wasn't an option. Like, hey, do you mind? No. You got plans on Thursday? Yeah, I can adjust. It'll be fun though. I'm looking forward to it. I've never done horse racing play-by-play. It'll be a good time. So Thursday out at Retama Park, live racing. It's back. You know, one of the parts of this old Schlossnagle thing, leaving A&M for Texas, I didn't think about till I just saw a tweet from Billy Lucci. Billy Lucci, of course, runs TexAgs.com. You know, Chip Brown from Horns 24/7 broke this story. You know, Chip for the Longhorns, kind of what Luch is for the Aggies. He just tweeted out, "What a time to be flying." He's leaving. You know, last night probably went over, had a bunch of $5 shots to drown in. I wonder how many Aggie fans are in the air right now, in either finding out because Wi-Fi on airplanes, if you're spending the $8 to get that, or you're going to land and realize your coach left. I mean, you talk about a brutal 24-hour period. Although I will say, trying to figure out details, and none are available yet. What the structure of the contract is, what the pay is going to be. Peter Burns from the SEC Network, good friend of the show, tweeted out, was told a while back, if he leaves, it won't be for money or facilities or fan base. It would be because it would be a chance to work for legit one of his best friends. Remember, current Texas AD Chris Del Conte was his AD at TCU before Schloss went to A&M. Wild times in 2024. It is, although I'm curious for Peter Burns, was told a while back if he leaves. Have there been rumors about this for a while? I mean, it is possible. It is possible. I mean, we're talking about baseball coaches, so it's very different than, say, a football coach or a basketball coach. Was it just something that came up with, Schloss not? It's not that he wasn't happy at A&M. I think there might be a lot of truth to what Burns is saying. It's his bestie. They're good friends. So maybe money wasn't the big factor, although I'm sure it's a factor because money is always a factor. And if somebody you want to work with again, you go for it. It's interesting because, as the Texas Longhorns get ready to move into the SEC, July 1 officially, they can put that logo on all their uniforms. And we know Texas's athletic department is world class. It's one of the premier programs. But so is Texas A&M. I mean, you look at Texas A&M and everything that they have done, their facilities, football, basketball, baseball, just played for the national championship. It is one of those premier jobs. It really is. I mean, I know they've got to win some national championships, but in reality, when you start looking at comparing jobs out there and take all your biases aside, as a Longhorn fan, you look at what Texas A&M has to offer, and they are one of those world-class programs. They are top level. There are programs out there that you could say, yeah, I think they're right up there when you look at facilities, money, tradition, fan base, all of it is right there. So it's not like he's leaving Texas A&M for a better job when you think about facilities and that sort of stuff. So maybe there's just a lot more truth to, I just want to work with my buddy.
Well, there's working with your buddy, but I also just thought about this. Ross Bjork would have brought him on. They've got a new athletic director in Trev Alberts.
Yeah.
Having to work for somebody that didn't bring you on, he just replaced the head football coach.
Sure.
He could be taking a 30,000-foot stare at things. And,
I think about that at College Station and you just took your team to the College World Series and a national championship, you know, game 3, you lost, but you were there. I think if you're any coach there, new athletic director coming in, you're probably pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you know, now who knows? Maybe somewhere along the line, he's doesn't like him. I got a new guy coming in. Oh, I don't like my boss. I mean, we've all had new bosses come in that you can't stand, and you just try to ride them out until they're gone. Or you realize new bosses coming in. I gotta get my resume together. I mean, all of those could be factors, right? And I get that. But you know, if you go back to what Peter Burns tweeted out, it won't be for money or facilities or fan base, just a chance to work with your buddy. I mean, in a 24-hour period, in less than a 24-hour period, you lose in the national championship game, and the next day you're taking a job with your rival. And I think that is probably the part that's going to burn Aggies a little bit more. Why you got to check on your Aggies?
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, if he would have left for, I don't know, the Tennessee job, let's say the dominoes fell differently, that Chris Del Conte hired the coach from Tennessee that just won the national championship, and then Schloss decided to take the Tennessee job. It would suck, but not near as bad. This sucks because he's leaving A&M to go to Texas.
Oh yeah, this stings so bad. This hurts, I would imagine, worse than that loss yesterday. If I was to power rank them, and I would, and I will ask some of my Aggie friends, which hurts worse? I think this.
Yeah. Can we hear that soundbite? Listen, last night, and again, he had to say this last night. He had to say this last night, which, you know, as you sit here and you try to put 2 and 2 together, maybe this wasn't done ahead of time because he might have answered a little bit differently. But this is what Schlossnagle said last night. Last night, after the loss, devastating loss, reporter had to ask because rumors were out there that he wasn't going anywhere.
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again. And that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
Okay. It's written. It's but not written in stone, because apparently you did change your mind. I mean, last night, yep. And again, I don't know if he says it quite that way last night, if the deal wasn't done. But again, dirty for Texas to fire their coach and have that leak the day you're playing for the national championship. A&M is playing for the national championship. So your big rival, they fire their coach. And then you go and then you steal this.
I remember you talking about this yesterday when you were going through the Bible when you got it in the mail.
Yep.
Remember, just 2 years ago, TCU head coach Sonny Dykes wins a national title on the hot seat, apparently.
Yeah, he could be on the hot seat.
Or not one, but played in a national title game.
Yeah.
And, you know, new AD, tomorrow's not guaranteed. I get to go work with my buddy.
That's it. Interesting times for sure. Again, might want to text your Aggie friends and just make sure they're okay. Give them a thumbs up. Does make tuning in tomorrow morning to the morning huddle a priority. I cannot wait to hear Rob Thompson's response and reaction. but he has not responded to anything on the group chat. He might wake up to this nightmare. And again, it's the baseball coach who's leaving for Texas. Hell, I haven't even heard from my buddy John Robbins. Anybody check on Richard Oliver? Been a rough 24 hours. It's the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, it is draft day. Do you want a big? Do you want a small? There's so many options.
I want all of it, Rob. Who are the Spurs going to take? Who's everyone going to take? We'll hit some odds. We'll hit some discussions. We'll see who fits where. It's the Morning Huddle. Starts at 6 right here on 94.1.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is great because you're rarely rewarded for just being you. Ever get rewarded for being left-handed? No. You get to use weird scissors. Your reward for being a Capricorn? Cold birthdays that conflict with the holidays. And your reward for quickly responding to every work email? More emails. But with Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Attention race fans, mark your calendars for the biggest event of the summer. Thursday the 27th kicks off opening weekend at Retama Park. Join us for thrilling live horse racing, family fun, delicious food, and more. Bring the whole family and experience the excitement at Retama Park. Gates open at 5:30 with the first race at 6:15. Don't be left in the dust. Get your tickets now at retamapark.com. That's retamapark.com. Retama Park, where the excitement begins. We'll see you at the races.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, ready to replace your windows or patio doors, but think it's going to be too expensive? Well, think again, because with Renewal by Andersen, you can get top quality, affordable windows and payments and no interest for 12 months. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Just text LONG to 200-300 right now for your free in-home window consultation and free price quote. Upgrade your home with new energy-efficient windows and doors installed by certified master installers from Renewal by Andersen and get their best-in-the-nation 20-year warranty. Renewal by Andersen is the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. Act now and get your windows and patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text LONG to 200-300. Text the word LONG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text LONG to 200-300.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Schlossnagle on vacation. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Tuesday afternoon. Been a long day. Pledge has been hurting all day, and he's got another hour to go. Extra innings with Pledge, although you only get 30 minutes today, right? Yeah, so a short show. After the Blink 182 concert last night, we had a lot of people moving a little bit slow. It was a great concert. Pierce the Veil opened. They were fantastic. Good times. But I'm ready to get out of here. I'm hungry, too.
Yeah. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. And I know Pledge is hurting. You said you weren't hurting earlier. I called you earlier today to get some stuff ready for the show. You answered, yeah. Are you awake? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You're hurting.
Define awake.
You can admit that you're hurting.
I'm not hurting. I'm fine.
You are not.
I'm
Why
fine.
you always got to be that guy? You could say, yeah, I'm moving a little slow today. Last night was a lot of fun, and I'm paying the price today.
I'm moving slow today, but I'm not hurting.
Okay.
Two different things.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not hungover, but I'm moving slow. I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing is I know you were standing on the floor, so you had no option. Where I was, nobody was sitting. It was one of those shows, and you don't sit at a Blink show. But, there's some shows you go to, and people sit. Like, I don't know how you do that.
There's a lot of energy expelled last night.
Yeah, sure. That's an interesting way to phrase it. It was fun times last night. So, I had forgotten that Hard Knocks was doing an off-season version until the trailer dropped today. So HBO Max, streaming on Max, whatever the hell they call it now, they I don't know, Max. They dropped the trailer, and it's with the Giants. And I think I forgot about this. So I'm glad they do that. It starts next week on Max. It's the Giants. And I'm a big fan of Hard Knocks, was a big fan of Hard Knocks, but it's lost its steam. And I think a big reason why Hard Knocks doesn't hit the way that it used to is because so many teams through their social media channels put together and put out such great content that used to be kind of what you got from Hard Knocks. We get that all the time now. And Hard Knocks is also very vanilla in the sense of, they're careful with what they actually put out there. So when they talked about doing the off-season version, I thought, well, what are we really going to learn? How behind the scenes are they really going to take us? And again, teams right now, they put a lot of this stuff out on social media already. And so if this trailer is any indication, I'm all in with this Hard Knocks.
The New York Giants are now on the clock.
We should stay and pick, right? This is Atlanta. What are you thinking? It's not built. We're still adding pieces, but we still have the draft and free agency.
What about Brian Burns? Have you looked at Brian Burns? We would have to trade like 2 2s, and then you have to pay him $28-29 million.
Breaking news. Brian Burns to the New York Giants.
I'm a G-man.
With the 6th pick, the New York Giants select Malik Neighbors.
You ready to be a New York Giant?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. I am 5 months from the surgery, so progressing that. I've gotten hurt, but not like this.
When you win here, it's unlike anywhere else. If you lose, they're going to be on your ass. It's New York, man.
He's doing everything he can to get back on the field.
Saquon, can you give me your word on that, or are you not going to give us a chance?
My job is to do what's best for the franchise.
Let's go.
Now, if the clip with the Saquon call, I can't wait to see the rest of that, because didn't it feel like when Saquon left the Giants that they didn't want him, that they just wanted to get rid of him? Isn't that kind of how that story was told initially? And now it kind of seems like maybe that wasn't the case. Could be interesting. And the Brian Burns trade, they were thinking it was going to cost them 2 2s and then pay him $28-29 million. If you're the Carolina Panthers, how pissed are you that they ended up getting only 1 second-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and a swap of 5th-rounders? Boy, the Giants were ready to pay a lot for Burns and got him for a steal. If you're the Carolina GM, know how crazy your owner is, he might be pissed. You could have gotten more for him. And the fact that they nailed the contract, $28.2 million a year, looks fascinating. It really does look fascinating. In season, Hard Knocks with the New York Giants of all teams coming up again next week. It will debut on HBO Max. You know, every Tuesday about this time we do the injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. They're online at TSAOG.com. Let's welcome on Dr. Lane Naugher on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Doc, how's your Tuesday?
My Tuesday's been great. Thank you.
You're not an Aggie fan, are you?
I sure am not.
Okay. I didn't think so. Where'd you go to school? I should know this.
Yeah, I went to Baylor.
That's
so
right.
I'm somewhat neutral, but I'm not too upset to see a little heartbreak after a great season, to be honest.
Well, I'm trying to figure out for your Aggie friends, not only did they lose in the national championship game last night, they lost their coach to Texas today. So it's been a rough 24-hour for Aggies. Might want to check on them.
It was a very rough couple days. I'll send a few messages, make sure everybody's doing okay.
Yeah, use that good doctory bedside manner, giving all your Aggie friends some either crap or condolences, maybe a little bit of both, right?
I'd say a little of both. That sounds about right.
So, Doc, Kristaps Porzingis is having surgery for that rare leg injury that kind of, he finally got healthy, plays in 2 games in the NBA Finals, and then he has this other injury. They kept calling it rare. What is the injury, and why is it so rare? And surgically, how do you fix it?
Yeah, so it's rare in that it's not one of the most common ankle injuries, say an ankle sprain or even fractures, but there are some tendons that travel from the calf or the back of the leg underneath the ankle bones and into the foot. This particular one's on the outside, and there's a little groove on the bone that these tendons sit in, and there's soft tissue called the retinaculum that helps to hold these tendons in place. Well, for Porzingis, that retinaculum or that covering soft tissue tore, and so these tendons were popping out of the little groove, and when he's jumping, running, those were probably popping back and forth, which hurts, and it slows you down. And the surgery to fix that, there's a couple options, but usually what's done is you actually deepen the groove on the bone. You actually can take instruments and widen the groove or make it deeper, and then repair that soft tissue and put a roof over that groove so that the tendons can't pop out anymore, and usually go on to heal pretty well. But it's definitely something that should heal up. But it's rare in the sense that it doesn't and you just don't hear about it so much in the press because it just doesn't seem to happen to younger athletes too often.
Is it one of the now he's going to miss the Olympics because of the recovery. But is this a long-term concern for Porzingis?
I don't think it's too much of a long-term concern. This is one of the lesser, I'll call it a lesser tendon in the ankle. It is important, especially at a high level of play, and really just his size, he puts a lot of stress, but it's not quite as severe as something like the Achilles, referencing back to like Kevin Durant or some of those guys that rupture their Achilles. That's a much bigger recovery, much more risky injury from a chance to return to full play. I think this is something that he should be able to get back to full play by next season. Obviously, the Olympics and anything for the next 3 to 4 months is probably off the table.
Going back into the NBA Finals time frame, he comes back, plays games 1 and 2, plays well, then he has this rare injury. But he was able to come back in game 5. So I was trying to figure out, like, how serious is this if he could actually come back after missing 2 games and play in the deciding game?
Yeah, some of that was early on. He probably had some new pain, and they're mid-series. They're trying to just keep him out there. They obviously, he didn't have an ankle sprain, just probably pain, and they're using, whatever modalities, the braces they could get him to keep him going. And, initially when it happens, it hurts bad enough, swells that, he's probably limping. But if they could get that inflammation under control, that's what they did and got him back on the court and just got him through the series. This is something that had it happened mid-season, it would have been a decision whether they could, string it along, do some injections and baby it, get him to the end of the year versus have to shut him down mid-season. But with, being the finals with just a few games left, they were kind of rushing to do anything they could to just get him back out there. And obviously he made a difference. So it worked for him.
What is a femoral stress reaction?
Yeah. So the actual term, it just means that there's swelling on the bone. And then, the reason that happens can be several reasons. Some people, if you fall or if you have a car accident, you hit the bone hard enough, the bone can bruise just like our soft tissues. But, when somebody didn't have a big trauma like that, we worry, especially for athletes, about stress fractures or sometimes we use the term stress reaction. Essentially, it's chronic or long-term repetitive stress on a bone can lead to fractures. And then commonly we see it in younger athletes, runners, cross-country track, runners that can get this in different parts of the femur or the thigh bone. It's a little unusual to see it in a baseball player, but if it's been going on a long time, it sounds like the whole first half of the season for Tatis that's going through this, it's more of just a repetitive stress, and there's no surgery needed, but he's got to shut it down for a while to let it heal.
Yeah, Fernando Tatis Jr. out until after the All-Star break. They're saying at least a 6-week injury for him, which that's big for the Padres.
Yeah, it's and it could be longer, to be honest. The bones take a while with these stress reactions to heal. I tell a lot of my young or even my weekend warrior athletes that develop this, sometimes it's even best to shut it down for 3 months and really gauge even beyond that. Sometimes we have to keep people resting for longer to fully let these reactions heal, because the risk, if you just keep playing or pushing, is that it will just keep hurting, or it can go from a stress reaction to a full-on fracture that might require surgery.
Interesting. Dr. Lane Naugher, always appreciate the knowledge and insight, my friend.
Well, it's good to be on with you.
Check on your Aggies. Dr. Lane Naugher with the injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Of course, he joined us, as all our guests do, on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. They are online at buyersbarricades.com. See what the Rangers have won, 5 straight? Got Milwaukee tonight?
They do. Now we know why Edwin's off today. We know the real reason.
What's that?
Getting prepared to be sad. That's why he was grumpy. He knew he was running into a buzzsaw.
Oh, is that what it is?
The Brewers fan knew what was coming.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Extra innings with Pledge coming up. 30-minute show. What Sloss talk?
A lot of Sloss talk, and drafts tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Kind of a big milestone, the next step, if you will, in the evolution of the Spurs back into championship status.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Extra innings with Pledge next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere.